So good morning. It is a Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn. He's Griffin. Carson Daly is here as well. Oh, you know what? It's so much easier. Why didn't I ever think of it before? It's Carson Weekly. Oh, my God. That's the one. Where the hell's that been? I can't believe it. That just hit me. Carson Weekly. Hey, you even know who Carson Daly is?
Yeah, I do.
All right, hang on. We got to put
There we go.
The talk show guy. Do you know the talk show? Like, do you know? He did host a late show at one point. That did happen. That's not you're kind of onto something. Carson Weekly. Damn. That's a good one. And I can't believe I didn't.
Oh, we can start now.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's what we're going to do. It's Carson Weekly is here with us. So a couple of things. One, if you're about to tweet me to say, hey, I don't hear you. What's going on? Blame Carson Weekly. But it's something that we're going to look to fix as we move into our new studio. We have this sort of flimsy situation where anything can reset the power in this studio. If you remember, it happened the morning that Andrew Stecca was here with his tarantula in the middle of the show.
The first morning I was here, I think it happened.
Did it happen? Really?
Well, I was here with Paul. That happened.
I don't know if I remember that. It's very frustrating. It's not going to be like that when we move into the new studio. That's a promise. But what happened was it reset everything in the studio. Well, everything started back up just fine, except for the computer that handles our audio streaming, which decided to do like the Microsoft update thing that's still in the process of resetting. So our options were wait that out to start the show, which is pretty packed. We got a lot on today's program, or just go ahead and start the show on YouTube and Facebook Live and then join in progress audio-wise. And so we decided to make that choice, that we would join today's show already in progress. So our apologies. We will get there, I promise. And anything you miss or anything you did miss, I don't even know. Who would hear this if you're missing it? What is the point? If you switched over, I guess if you started looking for the audio and switched over to video, yeah, forget it. What am I doing? Busy day coming up. We are scheduled to be joined, as always, on Wednesday by Drew Forrester from drewsmorningdish.com and 105.7 The Fan. We got Would You Rather Wednesday scenarios up at Glenn Clark Radio and facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. Later on this hour, Stephen Means, who recently re-signed with the Baltimore Ravens. Good to have him back. We will chat with him. In the 11 a.m. hour, we're scheduled to be joined by longtime MLB umpire Dale Scott, who is going to be appearing at the Orioles game tonight for Pride Night. Dale wrote a book detailing his own coming out, and it's an interesting story. It's an unbelievable story, honestly, and clearly something that's still within baseball you don't see every day. So we'll talk to Dale about that and, why Angel Hernandez stinks and still is allowed to work. I'm guessing he's an umpire. He'll probably be like, oh, no, you're hard on the guy too much. I'm guessing they protect their own. But we're still going to address it. And then later on in the program, we will chat with Nelson Cruz, of course, who is probably – I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about doing a list of the most impactful one-year Baltimore athletes. Like, who's 1 year – in Baltimore was most impactful, and I'm afraid that everybody just immediately jumped to Trent Dilfer, but the truth is Trent Dilfer really wasn't good. Like, he happened to be the quarterback, but we all know that he was just the guy that was sort of shepherding, don't F it up, whereas Nelson Cruz was really good. They just didn't win the World Series because everybody got hurt, unfortunately. But Nelson Cruz back in town as the Nationals took game one of a short 2-game series last night, 3-0. We'll talk to Nelson Cruz a little bit later on. So a lot to do on the program today. I am going to take a minute here at the top. I think anybody who's watched and listened to this show over the years knows that Jalen Ferguson was a regular with us over the years. Ironically, Reed and I were just having a conversation last week where I was like, man, Jalen's look great. I can't wait to get him on. And we had talked legitimately about having him on the radio show this Sunday, because so many times that I had talked to Jalen Ferguson over the years, we were talking about him trying to ramp up and opportunity and I just like Jalen Ferguson a lot, man. I think we all remember the story of Jalen Ferguson and how he spent his draft day literally cleaning up a hurricane that had run through Louisiana. The most exciting, most impactful day of his life, what he was concerned about was taking care of his community and being there for other people. You're seeing a lot of pictures this morning of Jalen Ferguson's family. 2 kids, which is just unthinkable. I so badly wish that we weren't having this conversation because we've been rooting for so long for the conversation about Jalen Ferguson to be about him finally having his moment as a football player. There's no big takeaway. We don't know a lot about, we don't know anything, frankly, yet. Nor, ultimately, to me, does it matter all that much. I mean, it matters. I get it. But the story is that a life was cut in not just entirely too short, but someone who I can tell you is a really remarkable human. And in particular, a remarkable human that was always, he was so remarkable that despite his struggles, he always wanted to talk. He was so giving of his time. He didn't run away from the fact that it wasn't working. He wanted to tell you, hey, man, it's on me. I got to work. I got to get better. I think the things we know about Jalen Ferguson, again, we all remember the draft day thing. We all remember how he had broken Terrell Suggs' record for most sacks in a season in college, and kind of how cool we thought it was that now he's going to play Terrell Suggs' team, and how badly we wanted to see it work out for Jalen Ferguson. I don't. There's nothing. I don't know what else you can say. I genuinely don't know what else you can say. It's unthinkable. It's tragic doesn't begin to describe it. It's tragic when someone in their 60s passes away. That's tragic. You didn't get to the place in your life where you could use the words natural causes and everybody can say, okay. Anything other than that is tragic. This is something so far beyond that. This is incomprehensible. This is outrageous. I can only imagine how shook everyone is inside that building. And I didn't bother to send messages or do anything like that because, my God, the overwhelming grief, I just can't fathom it. That's for somebody else. I'll let somebody else be that guy. These guys, I know how much Tyus Bowser loves Jalen Ferguson. We spent a lot of time talking about it last year. I can't fathom the profoundness of the impact. I can't fathom how crushing, how devastating it must feel to those guys that know Jalen Ferguson on a day-to-day level. Patrick Queen was talking a lot about it this morning on Twitter. They would go out of their way to spend time in the sauna together every day. I really like Jalen Ferguson, man. I really, really like Jalen Ferguson. There's not a real good way to move on. So what we're going to do is we'll just take a break here just to separate this because we're going to do a show and we're going to talk about, everything we're going to talk about. But I just want you guys to know what a wonderful person I found Jalen Ferguson to be in so many conversations that he and I had during his time here. And just retching news to wake up to this morning. We'll do the Glenn Clark Radio portion of the program when we come back in here. Sports fans, the wait is over. The all-new FanDuel Sportsbook is now open at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. This is your chance to win big right in your own backyard. Bet on every sport with self-service kiosks and watch all of the action from the best seat in the house. Make every moment more at the all-new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
Are you ready, soccer fans? This summer, the English Premier League returns to Baltimore. Arsenal, Everton, square off in the Charm City match, July 16th, under the lights at M&T Bank Stadium, home of the Baltimore Ravens. This is your only opportunity to take in a Premier League match this summer in the Mid-Atlantic region. Individual and group tickets are on sale at BaltimoreRavens.com.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Come in for Glory Burgers, Glory Wings. There's glory for everyone at Glory Days Grill. Enjoy our award-winning burgers, ribs, and wings, or try our fresh salads, hand-cut salmon, or our scrumptious sandwiches. Yum! Come in for our daily specials every weekday, like $7.99 burgers on Mondays and $6.99 nachos on Thursdays. Dine in and let us serve you, or order online at glorydaysgrill.com and take it home. Visit us at glorydaysgrill.com for a location near you. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports.
The 2022 baseball season is in full swing, and the future is brighter than ever for your Baltimore Orioles. I'm Paul Valley.
And I'm Zach Goodman.
And together we bring you the Bat Around every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon with everything you need to know about the Orioles and baseball as a whole. From veterans like Cedric Mullins, Austin Hayes, and Ryan Mountcastle,
To young stars like Adley Rutschman, Grayson Rodriguez, and DL Hall.
we've got you covered for every game, every pitch,
And every debut.
You can watch us at youtube.com/PressBoxOnline and Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, or you can listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. So join us live on the Bat Around every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon right here at PressBox Sports. It's statistically proven that the show sounds better if you're not wearing pants. Like me, right now. You're listening to Glenn Clark Radio.
I briefly mentioned it, but the Orioles did indeed lose the Nationals 3-0 last night. Jordan Lyles, despite not really being all that great, managed to work his way through 6+ innings of only going up 2 runs, which is sort of the Jordan Lyles story and why he's likely to have at least some sort of market at the deadline, because somehow, some way, he manages to give you innings, even when you look at him and say, I don't think he's really pitching all that well. But yet, somehow, at the end of the day, he delivers you a quality start. It's not all the time that he delivers a quality start, but he just does deliver you innings, and that is a commodity. Not to say that he would get you a lot or anything of significance at the deadline, but everyone needs pitching, and there's only so much of it that's available. The Orioles will play Game 2 of that series, very short series, tonight against the Nationals before they head to Chicago. Joining us now, drewsmorningdish.com, Fairways and Greens, 105.7 The Fan. He is our friend Drew Forrester. He's with us now, and I just can't believe you put that black cloud over the U.S. Open last week by talking so much about the LIV Golf Tour. You should really be ashamed of yourself.
By the way, the guy that called me, your new producer that'll be there for a couple months, he said Glenn Clark Radio in Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't realize that you're also in Baltimore. Like, it's
man, but I will still say he's better than Paul.
Well, I mean, come on, it's a low bar though.
Hey, Paul, what's happening?
Yeah, how dare you?
What was your question?
How dare you? How dare you put such a black cloud? You put. You put a black cloud on it.
Of all the guys who have gone, he was the most obvious one of them all from the beginning, because they took his brother, who, when I say can't play a lick, I'm comparing him to the best players in the world. Like, his brother is, when you look up journeyman, that Chase Koepka's picture's there, and it probably has a giggle emoji next to it, because he might not even be a journeyman.
Right.
So when he got money from them, you knew Brooks was going. And when they asked him last week about it, and the funniest comment of the whole thing was when they said, hey, have you had a chance to talk to your brother about the first event in London? And this is 4 days after it was finished. And he said, nah, I haven't really gotten around to talking to him about it, honestly. You're like, okay, so when are you leaving? You know, it was very obvious he was always going to leave. I mean, I think it was just a negotiating.
I hear you.
They probably offered him $50 million,
right.
And he said, not enough. And they said, how's 80? And he said, not enough. And eventually they said, how's 150? And he said,
yeah,
sounds
right.
like I'll
Right.
Sounds like I'll go.
See in Portland, right? 100%. No,
yeah, I mean,
it's Rafael Palmeiro wagging his finger at Congress. Funny though, like it's 100%. So funny.
100%, because he chastised everybody last week for, and I wrote this morning. Like now, it kind of all makes sense, right? He started the week off by having to stand up there in front of them and pretty much lie and say, and not only lie, but make them out to be the bad guy. Then he started off playing decently, also knowing that by Thursday, the scuttlebutt in the real golf underground was he was gone. And he knew that, right? I mean, he knew that was out there. He could read it. He knew it. And then his golf started to suffer over the weekend. So, like, the whole thing comes full circle. Like, dude, you told everybody you weren't going. Everyone knows you're going. Now there's no way out of it. So, not a surprise at all. But realistically, the only guy out there so far who confronted it and lied about it. The rest of them didn't even confront it.
Right. Yeah. Phil Mickelson was an utter coward until he was actually
right.
So as far as who cares now, right? Like now this thing exists, they just go to nobody cares and they'll go play golf in Portland and maybe two people that I don't even know how much you're gonna care. So it's kind of the only part that's interesting is who's gonna go do it. Nobody actually cares once they go do it. Because they already got through the first one. The U.S. Open, however, again, not for me, but for golf people, it did come off as being very compelling. I guess my question is tell me the story on Matthew Fitzpatrick, right? Is he a guy that's just a good golfer and he'll be in the mix, or is he really someone who could win 3-4 more of these and force the average person to care about him?
Yeah, I think he is. Now, 4 might be ambitious because, Rory's only won 4. But he had a great pedigree. He won the U.S. Amateur there in 2013. He was an outstanding college player. So just in light of that, him winning a major championship, not all surprising. He's been very, very good on the European Tour. Had not yet won until this past weekend on the PGA Tour. But his DNA pointed to something like this happening for him. I think most people probably assumed it would have been a British Open before a U.S. Open. But the story on him is that 3 years ago, he kind of, speaking of confronting, sort of confronted himself to say, I am not going to be able to win if I can't hit the ball further than I'm hitting it now. And he went on a several-year journey to hit the ball further without changing his body. He didn't go on this crazy diet that wrecked DeChambeau.
Mm-hmm.
He just went at it athletically through what's become a very popular system in golf called the stack system, which is basically nothing more than 6 different weights that you screw on and screw off to the head of a golf shaft, for lack of a better term, and you swing these weights on a daily basis based on information that's given to you through an app. And it's become very popular. But he was one of the first pros to really dive into it and commit to it. And over time, he's built up about 30 more yards of distance, which has totally changed. 30 yards on the PGA Tour is a club or 2 or 3 different, depending on what kind of shot you're hitting. He's gone from hitting 7 irons into greens to hitting 9 irons into greens. So So now that he's done this, and he hasn't really sacrificed accuracy, in fact, he's become more accurate, the only thing left is, can he have the hot putter this week? Interestingly enough, he didn't putt all that great at the country club and still won. But, these guys are almost all cookie cutter in that they all kill it. They all hit it fairly straight. And for the most part, they're hitting between 62 and 66% of the greens.
Right.
The upper echelon guys are hitting 70%, but most tour players are hitting between 62 and 66% of the greens. It just becomes a question of who putts the best that week. So if he gets 3 of those weeks over the next 10 years, he could definitely win 3 or 4. And I would say the same thing about him that I said about Morikawa a couple of years ago. His game, he can kind of win anywhere. If the winds are down at St. Andrews, because that's the only defense the golf course has is the weather. If the weather is benign in next month, literally 18 under is going to win there.
Wow.
He could make 24 birdies or 22 birdies in 4 days there. And he could also, as he just did, win on the venue where where it requires you to play the best golf. The St. Andrews is just bombing out there, and there's no real trouble, but you can get in trouble with the wind by not being able to hit your ball close to the hole. But he could win anywhere. He could win at Augusta. So Fitzpatrick's, I liken him a lot to like a Morikawa, whereas his game fits kind of nicely with any of these places where they play the majors.
He's Drew Forrester, drewsmorningdish.com. He's with us here on GCR. And then what about this meeting yesterday? And then I swear to God, we're not doing any more golf. We've done so much. I can't believe how much I've talked about golf in the last month. What about this meeting yesterday and these rumors about them trying to do their own kind of super tour thing? What do you make of all that?
Well, I haven't seen it. I didn't even write about it today because I was waiting for – I want to see the actual press release from the PGA Tour. Rather, I believe most of Twitter, most of Dan Rappaport's and the guys that are embedded in Kyle Porter, the guys that are embedded in golf, I believe them when they say, here's what happened yesterday. But I would rather just wait to see the tour publish it all, how all the details are there. But, the answer to your question is what happened is and I think I said this to you last week, I didn't hit this nail exactly on the head, but I said they're going to change their schedule.
Right.
This wraparound thing always was a dumb idea, and it was just sort of artificially planted to give the guys from 50 to 150 in rankings, it gives them a head start on the FedEx Cup. But when the dust settles every year, none of those guys ever win. Patton Kazire would always lead the FedEx Cup until January, and then when the real season started, he'd finish T50.
Yeah,
right?
Love that guy, whoever he is.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But so what they've done is essentially said, we're going to play January to August. That'll be the FedEx Cup. That'll be the season. Then we're going to come back in October, and to get the rankings for the next year, we're going to play a series of events for the guys 50 to 150, and we're going to play a series of events for the guys 0 to 50. The 0 to 50 guys will be playing for $1 gazillion. The 50 to 150 guys will just be playing for millions. And they'll take the aggregate of those events, and that's how they'll create their exempt list for the next season, which will now start in January. Does that make sense?
Sort of. I'm still
So it's nothing more than it is for sure.
Right.
It is a quasi answer to LIV Golf.
Right.
In that they will now take appears to be 8 events.
Right. But are they 8 events that already exist, or are they 8 new events that they're going to create?
That's what I'm waiting for today.
Yeah.
I'm wanting to make sure that is the FedEx Cup still finishing in, because remember, this is what's interesting about this. The tour 3 years ago, was it 3, I guess, when they started this, or 4 when they ended in August? Maybe 3. But the tour did this completely to not have to fight with the NFL. Completely.
Right. Let's wrap up by Labor Day weekend.
Right. When they used to wrap up at the end of September,
Right.
they fought for 3 weeks with the PGA, with football, and they were fighting with them not only for attention, but you got to remember, and I'll use our station here in Baltimore as an example, there would be times when the golf wouldn't be on.
Right.
Because the football team was playing.
Right.
So they're fighting. They're trying to get this TV coverage. They're trying to get as much attention to these last couple of events as they can. So they basically backed away, said, NFL, you own September, which obviously is smart, and we'll end in August. Well, now they're going exactly the opposite of that.
Well, but but the follow-up from Dan Rappaport was that these wouldn't all be in the fall. Like what they're saying, that he said they'd be spread across the season, which is kind of what makes this more confusing because, like, is it the same top 50 guys? If that's why, like, could it be that it's the Riviera becomes one of these events or something like that?
And
right.
So that's an offshoot of the World Golf Championships. Now, what I did see yesterday is that 4 of them are going to be in the fall.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
Now, again,
how do you do that?
Here's my prediction. My prediction will be that those events will not be in the United States.
Okay.
And because they won't be in the United States, the time will be different.
Right. You could do them in the morning.
You might get up on Sunday morning at 9 and watch the final round of the tournament from United Arab Emirates or Japan.
Well, there's also, like, I know it's crazy to think of, but there's also probably, like, the idea that you could do something. Never mind. There's no way to pull it off.
No, but I think this is the football versus golf argument is very compelling because you just changed your tune 3 years ago, got out of fall golf. Now you're going to go back into it and try to create these events to be sort of symbolic in nature that they are the ones that are rewarding the best players.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all going to watch them. But am I going to watch? Now I would because
you're a nerd.
I would.
Yeah, I get it.
But
right.
Are people going to watch golf at 3 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon
no
in
chance
September?
in hell.
No way.
Right.
So that's why I think these events, these significant big money grab events, will wind up being in Australia, in the Middle East, in Japan. They'll be elsewhere where the time change might not conflict as heavily. Now, then the argument's going to be, well, who's going to get up at 5:30 in the morning and watch golf? So I am anxious to see what they do today because some of it is definitely a direct is a direct shot at LIV, for sure.
Right. Well, and to try to stop the bleeding. Like, hey, look, if you're thinking about it, if it's something you've considered, you don't need to. If it's only about the money, we got you. You're going to make more. We figured out a way that you can make some more money. We're going to go about doing
I wouldn't be shocked today, and it didn't come out yesterday, so it would have. But I wouldn't be shocked to see them adopt the formula that the USGA has, which is the USGA, if you miss the cut as a professional, you still get a stipend.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is. It might be $5,000.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
You still get, I'm a little surprised the PGA Tour hadn't done that yet, but that could be coming.
All right, quickly before we do Would You Rather Wednesday, where are you as far as – this is weird conversations kind of popped up this week about, oddly, Jorge Lopez, of all people, who has, of course, found money for the Baltimore Orioles. Like, nobody on the planet thought there could be any value at all in Jorge Lopez, but there are lots of baseball people who are saying he's a real commodity. Like, Peter Gammons was going on to me recently about how badly the Red Sox want him. And there's this interesting thing where you have this found money. Who knows if this guy is really a legitimate closer for the next 5 years or is just the guy that happens to be good for a few months right now. And that's, sort of measured against the fact that we think that in the next year or two, the wins and losses are supposed to start mattering here. So you could trade him, and it's still a closer. You're not going to get, an overwhelming amount for him, but you can get something. The word is, in baseball circles, teams want him. Or you could say, we think he could be part of the solution of a competitive team in the next couple of years. What do you do?
Well, I mean, it is bizarre that we're having this discussion. I would certainly move him if just like any other player. if the price is right for him and you feel like you're getting the upper hand, I don't want to say fleece because I don't think you can fleece someone for Jorge Lopez. But if you can get something for him that's, that you believe you win that fight or, you win that trade, go ahead. Like, I would say in my lifetime, now some of these names but they predate you, but I would say in my lifetime there have been 5 or 6 relief pitchers that stood the test of time. Not that Kimbrel guy who was good for a couple of years or Kenley Jansen. I'm talking about relief pitchers who stood the test of time.
Right, but I'm
Bruce Sutter.
Yeah, Lee Smith. Right. I get it. Dennis Eckert.
I guess I could just classify it by saying these guys that are Hall of Famers and or should have been Hall of Famers.
Right.
Gossage, Sutter, obviously Mariano.
Hoffman, Wagner.
Yeah, Hoffman. Right, those guys. And maybe if you want to, even currently, if you want to throw Chapman in there, I don't know if he's ever going to make the Hall of Fame. But anyway, unless he's one of those guys.
Okay, but this is interesting, right? You're creating the standard of it. I mean, these are guys that we're talking about a decade plus. You've got him under control for 2 more years after this point, right? I don't know that my standard is that he's that guy, but could he be super helpful for you for 2 years as you try to transition into contention?
Sure. And that's why you don't give him away. That's why if you can get something, if you feel like you can make a deal where when you hang up the phone, you go, holy cow, can you believe they gave us those 3 guys? Then you do it. But if you don't, this is the same. I mean, I would classify this as the same argument you're having with Mancini or
I don't know.
I wanted to just say Mountcastle, but any of them,
but
any of those guys are available.
Right,
but
it's interesting.
Some of them you've got to be blown away for.
But it's so funny you give that premise. I'd almost say the exact opposite. I don't think there are that many guys that I would have available at this point. I don't think there's any world why to say, hey, look, if somebody wants to give you everything for Ryan Mountcastle, sure, but that's so unrealistic that why are we talking about it, right? Like, I think that Mancini's available, and unfortunately, I think it's the opposite thing now. I think that Mancini, I'm kind of making peace with they're just going to take whatever they can get for Mancini because they don't intend to pay him. So I hate it. It's something that I'll yell about when we get there. But I'm in a different place with Mancini where they are just going to trade him for the sake of trading him. I'm more and more convinced of that every day in every conversation I have with someone that they're just going to end up dealing him. Jordan Lyles, of course, if somebody gives you whatever for Jordan Lyles, you're going to take it because he's here for a year. So if people want pitching. If somebody thinks that there's something that they can get out of Jordan Lyles, you'll take whatever crap you can get for him in a trade. But outside of that, I don't really know who is available. Like, this is the weird part. I don't know that they're any longer in a place where this is what they're doing versus saying whatever faith we have in the fact that it is, that the time is now. Like, they've got to have pieces for the next couple of years in order to do this thing.
Okay. Fair enough. But I don't, maybe I just don't have a high enough opinion of him to warrant that, to warrant that kind of attachment. I mean, it could be that. I mean,
by the way, I don't know how it's a weird place that I am. Like, I am absolutely, I can make an argument on either side of this. I can say, hey, well, you just created Jorge Lopez, so couldn't someone else just be your Jorge Lopez next year?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the way, that is the way I look at it. Again, he's got great numbers. I mean, he's been
phenomenal. And a lot of people pointed out, but they've been trying to do that for the last 3 years, and none of the ones that Mike Elias has thrown out there have worked. This is the first one that's worked that you've experimented with, and that is relevant, right? Like, to just assume, hey, it could just be Felix Bautista next year instead. Like, maybe, but if the games actually matter, do you trust that? I don't know. I didn't trust Zach Britton once upon a time, but he turned out to be a revelation, right? It's a tough spot to be in to measure this against the idea that the games might matter, which I'm still struggling with a bit, but we'll get there. All right, let's play Would You Rather Wednesday really quickly. Would You Rather Wednesday brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Did you know, Drew, that Glory Days is giving away a backyard barbecue right now? If you go to glorydaysgrill.com, you can register to win a backyard barbecue for you and your friends. And you and I, of course, have had more Glory Days.
Well, I'm in.
Yeah, correct.
And if I don't win it, invite me and I'll come to it.
Damn right. But that makes 2 of us. If we're not the winners, and I did I did sign up this morning. If we're not the winners, we better be invited to this thing. Would you rather, number one, would you rather, a lot of people complaining about the fact that there aren't big events sports-wise in the next few weeks. You've got the Stanley Cup Final, a couple more games there. That's about it.
That's about it. Two more.
Would you rather? Oh, you're convinced that Colorado's still going to
win? Colorado will win tonight.
Right. So would you rather, in order to try to fix that, the NBA and NHL move their seasons back a month so the finals push back well into July, or Major League Baseball adopts what they do at some levels of the minors and gives playoff spots for the first half of the season only, therefore creating significant games and playoff races ahead of the All-Star game?
Oh, it's like we used to do in Little League.
It's like we used to do in Little League. Did you really?
We did.
I don't think you did.
We had halves in Little League. We played 24 games. You'd have 12 in the first half and 12 in the second half.
We did not. Yeah, but did you get into the playoffs because of the first half?
Yeah. You made the playoffs.
We did not have that. That is different.
We did some weird stuff at Glen Burnie.
Yeah, I've heard.
I'll take the baseball thing. You know how I feel about baseball. I think baseball is, of all the sports, all the sports are screwed up. Baseball is the worst. And this would at least, this would give you 81 games. This would give you 2 seasons essentially. And I think it would be awesome. I mean, we'd still be in the playoff race at this point.
Well, not really, no. But
not for the first half.
Oh,
but
you're
for
saying
the second half.
Oh, I don't know if you do the second half only, or if you do a full season at that point. I don't know what that would be. But that is a unique idea though for a team that's coming on. If you made it first half, second half, I actually do think that's a unique way to make both more interesting. Oh boy, you actually just sold me on that. That does make everything more interesting. And there's less haves and have-nots by the time you get to the trade deadline, because there's more teams that are like, hell, all we got to do is play well for 2 months, and we're in this thing. That's fascinating. All right, number 2. Would you rather? I don't know if you saw the they're a 10 meme that was going around on Twitter this week. They're a 10, but they pour the milk in their cereal bowl first, like Colin Morikawa. What a weirdo. And it doesn't even register as one of like the top 10 strangest things about them. Or they're a 7, but they're largely quite normal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can overlook the milk thing.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, that's not even in the top 10 of the odd things that this person does.
Oh, that's not in the top 10.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Lord.
That's how crazy this person is right. That you don't even really notice the weirdo, the milk thing. Because
maybe I'll go back and take the 7.
Yeah, I think the 7 might be the smarter play there. And number 3, would you rather you win a radio contest prize? Congratulations, by the way.
You're welcome.
It's a trip. It's a trip to the Ravens-Cardinals preseason game in Phoenix in August. Or it's an all-expenses-paid trip to the World Cup in Qatar, where you literally can't drink or have sex.
I don't know, man. I might take Qatar.
Really? I guess it doesn't. And it doesn't really impact you. You're not really the one that's going there.
I'm not.
It's not really. It's not really going to impact Drew. I guess you're the wrong person to answer this question specifically.
It's the World Cup, though.
Yeah, I get it. It's still, I don't know, dude. I'd be really worried. Even you, like, you might spit your gum out in a certain way and end up in jail for 5 years.
Well, that's true.
I mean, like, I really just don't think there's any world in which I'm going to cut. By the way, have you even seen the stadiums they're using?
Yes.
They look like stacks of boxes.
I know.
The hell is going on?
I got a feeling one of them is going to fall apart during the actual playing of the game.
There's no doubt that one of them is going to fall. Like, I saw a picture yesterday, and it said, that's not a stadium, that's some Legos. Like, that's what they're using to play the World Cup is some Legos that my 7- and 5-year-olds put together last week.
No,
they didn't want Baltimore. They didn't want Baltimore. They said we're good.
I know, right? Yeah, because our stadium, our subways were no good.
Yeah, we're good. We'll go to Foxborough instead. They got, as you know, tremendous subway systems in Foxborough. It's the highest end of public transportation in Foxborough, Massachusetts.
Man, how about this news about Jalen Ferguson?
Thank you. I did a whole segment about it and I was trying to move on from it. It sucks. Everything about it sucks. There's nothing else
I
to
mean,
say.
it's awful. And now they're saying it was an overdose?
Thank you. Yes, it's horrendous. Everything about it is just horrendous.
God.
Just awful. Just truly, truly awful.
Terrible.
So thanks for that. You want to plug your radio show? Jeez. Way to.
No, I just was asking you. Like, I mean, it's terrible.
What do you say? It's just wretched. Everything about it is wretched. It's horrible. It's atrocious. I got nothing else. I'm tapped out on that. What's coming up on Fairways and Greens on Sunday? Jeez.
I'm just getting around to starting to think about next Sunday, but we'll be there 12 to 1, and looking forward to talking golf. Okay. We'll probably talk about LIV.
Oh, well, that's different.
That would be my guess.
What a unique idea that is.
Yeah, we're working on it.
This is why they gave you a show.
No doubt. Now, we're gonna. I got a couple little special things planned. I don't want to say yet because they're not LIV related, but I got a couple special things planned. Some special guests. I just don't want to say it yet until they're confirmed, but I'm feeling pretty good about Sunday.
All right, very good. All right, buddy. Appreciate you.
All right, we'll see you
next
week.
Bye. Drew Forrester, truthmorningdish.com. I got a few of you reached out after we had talked about it. We did learn Justin Fenton sent out a tweet with a few more details. And I don't even like sharing this, if I'm being completely honest with you, because of where it allows people to go. Justin Fenton from the Baltimore Banner tweeted regarding the death of Ravens linebacker Jalen Ferguson. I'm told medics were called late last night to a home in the Harwood neighborhood of the city for Ferguson not breathing, and he was pronounced dead just after midnight. No signs of trauma or foul play. Police say, a source says it is a suspected overdose based on items found at the scene. The reason I don't like sharing that is because for some people, when you hear the word overdose, you immediately say something like, well, you no longer feel sympathy. That somebody brought it upon themselves. Because there are still many idiots among us, and I say idiots, some people just don't know. I've been living a lot of my life not understanding that addiction is a disease. Like heart disease is a disease. Addiction is a disease. So I don't like talking about these things because the response that people tend to give to it is grotesque. Yes, that's out there. Justin Fenton reported that this morning. It changes nothing about any of the sentiments that I've shared. Zero. And for the overwhelming majority of us who have lost loved ones to the disease of addiction, we know it has zero to do with what kind of person someone was. Like so many diseases, addiction does not choose based on, well, this guy's a bad guy, so we're going to go over there. That's not the way this works. Nothing about the sentiments that I have shared about Jalen Ferguson as a person, as a human, change because of this. But for a lot of you that are incapable of thought, that are incapable of diving deeper and learning more and educating yourself and just wanting your narrative to be fact, you're going to respond certain ways. And it's bunk. And all it is you just showing your ass. So yes, that is out there this morning. I also, unsurprisingly, and I'm being honest, I kind of expected this. We'll talk more about Would You Rather Wednesday. It's been a tepid response to Would You Rather Wednesday. I get it. It's not a day that feels like a lot of fun. I understand. We do a show. We try to mix a bunch of different things in. It's tough today to feel like today is a very fun day. And I understand that. We still try to do a mix of things on this show. We still try to bring levity and all that sort of stuff. I would love for you guys to be a bit more participatory when it comes to Would You Rather Wednesday. That would be great. Appreciate Glory Days Grill. And again, you can register right now to win a backyard barbecue glorydaysgrill.com is the website for you to do that. What's that?
So we're going to give Stephen Means a day.
Oh, okay.
Because of the Jalen Ferguson
That's fine.
news. So we will talk to him tomorrow.
That's fine. I certainly understand where Stephen Means is coming from. I completely understand that. Just maybe next time, let me know that. There's a give and take. When I'm doing a show, you just got to say, I completely understand, and I certainly can only, as I said earlier, I can only imagine, and honestly, I kind of expected that might be the case. Just because of the unbelievable sadness that everyone must be feeling right now. So Stephen Means will join us tomorrow, and we wholeheartedly get it. Let's do that then. Let's us respond to Would You Rather Wednesday, brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Number 1, would you rather? We're trying to fill the void, complaining about the lack of events, and yes, it's made worse by the fact that the World Cup is in November and December because we had to play it in Qatar, Anyway, the moral of the story being, to fill the void, we bump back the start of basketball and NHL season, which start in the middle of football season anyway. So we bump it back about a month, therefore bumping the finals back well into July. We artificially got that last year in basketball because they started the season later coming out of the bubble, and what they had done in Orlando, so they wanted to bump the start of the season back a little ways. I've argued for some time that maybe Christmas is the ideal start date for basketball season. It's a great way, you've kind of had this Christmas tradition for years, although the NFL is now trying to take it away from you. But maybe it's the ideal way to start your season, and that would push the finals back well into July. Of course, the argument against it is that people go on vacation in July, and so ratings for anything don't tend to be as good in July as they are in June. Just putting it all out on the table. But in order for us to appeal to us, the sports fan, that once major events, you bump back start of the season in NBA, NHL 1 month, therefore pushing the finals into July and giving us more spread out leading up to the start of football season. Or you do this half-season bit in baseball and you create playoff races at the end of the first half. Now you get 6 teams, I believe is what we settled on, that make the playoffs in both leagues. So I think there could be a way that you could do this to do like
3 and
3, or I was thinking maybe it's 2, 2. Like 2 teams that make it based on the first half, 2 teams that make it based on the second half, 2 teams that make it on the totality of the season in order to try to spread this out the best. I haven't fully flushed this through, but that's the one that I'm coming to. And since, again, it's been a slow response today for Would You Rather Wednesday, I can change things on the fly. That's what I'm leaning towards is 2, 2, 2.
Gotcha.
Is 2 teams, top 2 teams make the playoffs for the first half, 2 more just for the second half, and 2 more make the playoffs based on their best record for the. And then I think we've all kind of talked about the idea of doing away with divisions anyway. We're going to get rid of the unbalanced schedule coming up. So we essentially maybe for the sake of it, we still say they're a division. I don't know what the point it would be, but we kind of do away with divisions at the same time.
Gotcha.
So that's my thought. One or the other.
I feel like I view myself as a big baseball guy, so I definitely am leaning towards that direction. It was kind of interesting, having the NBA Finals in July last year. I remember I was at the beach.
I loved it.
Yeah, I remember I was at the beach, and so like it was kind of cool to just like throw it on and be like, oh, cool, the Bucks and Suns are playing. But like I could definitely also see how that would hurt ratings because people will be away. Like I wasn't sitting down to watch the entire game, but I was throwing it on, in the middle of the night and seeing it. I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. But I feel like I'm a big baseball guy, and that sounds way more enticing. Having a playoff race coming down to the end of June and then doing it all over again in September.
We regularly talk about the problem with baseball is how few of the games feel like they matter.
Right.
Like you're enticed to watch your team, particularly if your team is playing well. But it's really hard to find myself watching. And in fairness, the only sport that I really find myself watching an average regular season game is football. That's not true. I guess college basketball, because the games feel like they matter a little bit more. But I don't feel like, I root for the Suns, so I watch some Suns regular season games, but I don't really watch other regular season basketball games. I just don't. I know that they try. I say that every now and then, if there's nothing else on, I might turn it on. I couldn't tell you the last time I watched
It's so hard for me to watch any NBA outside until we get to April when.
Right. Well, yeah. When the playoffs begin, all of a sudden I'm watching every night. Like it's all I watch. But for the regular season, and especially with the team that I root for not being local and not being on TV every night, which actually kind of works out for me. So it's a bigger deal when they are on national TV. And so I'm inclined to watch. I don't know. I don't watch any regular season baseball games that don't involve the Orioles. I mean, short of somebody saying, "Hey, so and so's throwing a no-hitter, flip over to MLB Network right now," and then I watch the end of it. I don't watch any.
Yeah, I'm kind of different that way. Like I love throwing on MLB Network. As I'm trying to fall asleep, have MLB Tonight on, quick pitch, just that. I love just seeing what's going on around baseball. So I lean towards that to make baseball even better for me.
Right.
I definitely lean towards having 2 seasons, 2 playoff races.
Carson Weekly.
I'm definitely a purist when it comes to baseball, and I don't know if I would lean towards a change for the format.
Just because you don't like changing anything.
I think baseball's good where it's at. I'm definitely in that.
Because you're one of the.
I know that I'm one of the few.
You're one of the dumb people that thinks that the extra inning rule isn't the greatest thing that ever happened in the history of baseball.
I hate it.
Oh
my
God!
It needs to be installed in my baseball league.
It needs to be installed everywhere for the rest of humanity.
In Little League, totally.
God
it's
damn it!
fantastic.
It's the greatest thing that's ever happened to
It needs
baseball.
to come to college baseball.
It's infuriating the thought that they're not going to do it moving forward. They better keep this.
To me, the fact with the extra inning rule,
Oh God!
the game's already going to end.
I regret now. Now he's riffing.
The game's
Now,
already
now
gonna
he's
end at,
now he's at an open mic night. He's just going.
The game's going to end at 11:15 or 11:30 with the extra inning rule. If you really care, you'll be willing to stay up till 12 without the.
Carson.
We want
Weekly.
more people to care.
That's the problem.
We want more people to care.
The problem is people don't care. And what you get is 7 innings of guys going up trying to swing for home runs because they've changed the game so drastically that you just watch guys strike out for 7 innings.
We get
until
Stevie
finally,
Wilkerson.
Yes, someone runs into one. Every now and then you get something magical, right? Every now and then, but it's very rare. Instead, you get baseball in the 10th inning. You get the thing that it was supposed to be where there's action and you have to strategize and make decisions, and it looks like baseball instead of guys just going up and swinging for home runs. What a magical thought it is.
It's true, but the thought of a team coming up in the top of the 10th and going 3 up, 3 down, and then team can come up.
That happening
That's
9
on
more
you.
times.
Right, but
That's on you.
I'm just saying the fact that a team could come up at the bottom of the 10th, ground out twice, and win
Yes,
the game.
you could have done the same thing. You failed.
I know, but it's
You had the same option.
It just doesn't sit well with me that you can ground out twice and win a game.
Again, if the other team does it, you don't win the game. You keep playing.
Right.
They get the same chance. It doesn't favor one team.
It's a good point. It doesn't favor either team. But
God.
I don't know. I still am not a fan.
Oh,
Maybe I need to get used to it.
I think the only argument for the first option is having hockey and basketball season start in December. I think that is definitely something that
Christmas
needs to
start would
start.
be awesome.
I've argued
And just shorter season, just a shorter season.
Well, I don't think it needs to be a shorter season because again, in the
It doesn't-
markets,
I think it would make the games matter
I
more.
think it's trickier when you're in a market where you don't have a team. In the markets where you have a team, those and the team matters. Those are real events,
Right,
every night.
The Wizards
Like
were good for like a week and a half.
Yeah, but we don't. The Wizards are in
Well,
DC.
I just
Like,
remember it being.
Yeah, like so weird. When I was in Phoenix working there was the D'Antoni, Amari Stoudemire, Steve Nash, Sean Marion Sons, which were extraordinarily exciting, despite the fact that they never won a championship, to the point where every game was wild. If you got tickets to a Suns-Clippers game, people were freaking the F out because the Suns were that big of a deal. And in markets where the basketball team matters, in Philadelphia this season it was like that way, in Milwaukee since Giannis has arrived, in markets where basketball matters, where you have a team and they're good, you don't want the season to be shorter because every game is electric. You want more of it. I don't think the season needs to be shorter. I think that we only reflect that way because we don't have a team and we just want to get to the part where the games matter for us. I've always kind of liked the idea that as the NCAA tournament ends, that's when I start casually watching basketball because you're getting into the playoffs. But I'd be okay. I've also said that I think they should move I think college basketball season should start a little bit later too. And I think the NCAA tournament should be pushed back a couple weeks. I just think that we all have to acknowledge the behemoth that football really is and work around that. Like, in a weird way, my answer is, why not both? But having to choose one or the other, I'd probably choose. Oh God, I don't know. This is tough.
I
this is a
think
good
you're right.
one.
You know, the fact that we don't have a hockey or a basketball team makes it. I feel like that generally makes us lean towards the baseball decision, just because it makes more Orioles baseball matter.
It has a direct impact to us too. Which
How?
The other option.
Right. Oh yeah. Correct. Correct. Well, again, a direct impact to our fandom versus a direct impact to our being bored on a Tuesday night or whatever.
I also think that it's pretty interesting what you said about like, hey, yeah, like we might not be like in our situation if the season was formatted in this way. If we can get hot for 2 months, we can get in the playoffs. Which
that is really fascinating. That is really fascinating. All right, quickly, number 2. Would you rather they're a 10, but they put the milk in their cereal bowl first, and it's not even in the top 10 strange things that they do, or they're a 7, and they're largely pretty normal?
I mean, pouring the milk not being top 10 in the things.
Yeah, you got to think about. You got to think about what those 10 things are, right?
That's a lot of stuff going on. So, I mean, 7s get you. They graduate. You graduate college with 7s. I mean,
it's just solid C's, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess it's a 10. Yeah. It's not a solid C, but it's a fringe C, I guess is what that would be.
So I'll go with
you're taking
relatively
the 7.
normal 7.
You're taking the 7.
As long as these like weird things aren't impacting me in a negative way.
I'm
taking the 10.
It's gonna be hard though, Carson Weekly. It's going to be very difficult to imagine there being 10 things weirder than the milk first that never impact you. Like you got to start thinking about what those 10 things might be.
If it's a Saturday morning and we're married and I come down the stairs, I'm gonna notice, and she's a 10. I'm not going to notice if she's pouring the milk before the cereal.
That's not in the top 10, Carson. That's outside. That's at the lower end of the list.
But they're not hurting you.
You don't know that.
It's not like, you don't know that?
You don't know
never mind.
that. Because you got to imagine, we can only imagine what's in the top 10. You got to think about what is in the top 10.
So like one of the 10 things could be, like she goes and cheats on you. That's one of the weird.
But that's not weird. That's not a quirk.
That's pretty weird.
That's a fatal flaw. There's a difference between quirk and little oddities versus she's banging bikers on the weekend. There's differences between those two things.
Maybe the 7 is the correct.
I think the 7 is the correct answer. I think if we're all being honest with ourselves though, and we had the shot at the 10 that was crazy.
I think if it was a 6, this would be a lot closer.
Yeah.
I just think that we all would be, if we literally looked ourselves in the mirror and this actually presented itself, right, where there was someone who was just, we would say, we can live with it, and we go that route because we're superficial and we're vile. Like, I think
this
if
is
we're
a
being
deeper
honest
question.
about it,
This is a deeper
I think we
question.
know that the 7 is the correct answer, but I think our actual answer would not be. I think what Carson Weekly was just letting on to was how truly grotesque we are as people, that nothing matters. Like, sure, maybe it's like that line in God, you guys are so young. Does "I just have sex" mean anything to you from Lonely Island?
Oh yeah.
God.
It's
It's the line where he's like, I think she might have been a racist. Still counts. Like, that's who we are as people. That's who we are. Like, we know someone. We see somebody on a personality, and we're like, that person's awful. I know humans. It was the girl Casey Anthony who we thought killed her kids, and we're like, yeah, but she's really good looking. Like, that's how superficial we are. That's how effed up we are as people. I think the answer really is the other. John Proctor, by the way, basketball always felt like more of a summertime game to me. Just push NBA to a later start. Have the championship coincide with the 4th of July. Why not? What doesn't get us? I actually wanted to go further than the 4th of July. I'm trying to get us deeper than that. I'm trying to get
NBA
us well
Finals
into,
leads right into the trade deadline of baseball.
I'm trying to get essentially,
and
right?
then training camp.
Right, I'm trying to get as little time as possible before football season starts. I don't want there to be 2 full months that we're waiting around. It also says if they're that crazy, there's a good chance they could run for Senate or something. That's probably not a bad retirement package. Oh God, I hate the fact that he's right about that. But in real life, the 7 who isn't insane. And then finally, number 3, you win this radio contest. You're either going to Phoenix for a preseason football game in August, or you're going to Qatar for the World Cup. But you can't drink. You can't have sex. God knows you might get arrested for any reason at all. You look at someone the wrong way.
So are these your rules? We can't drink and have sex?
No, that's Qatar's rule. That came out.
That's like some crazy.
That's come out in the last week. They will put you in jail for 7 years if they find out that you had sex with someone who wasn't your spouse.
Jeez, that's a tough one.
Oh, gay people definitely not welcome in Qatar, by the way, as we celebrate Pride Night the night with the Orioles.
Okay.
There will not be a Pride Night at the World Cup.
Wow.
Yeah.
Soccer's a old-fashioned sport.
This isn't about
Yeah.
soccer. This is about Qatar.
I just feel like in general, soccer is though.
No, I'm pretty sure most soccer fans go out and get drunk and carry on.
Well,
and,
yeah.
and randomly hook up with people. I'm pretty sure
I mean,
it has nothing to do with
like
soccer.
the world. Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
a horrendous place to hold a World Cup.
I think for me, the fact that it's in November is the deal breaker, because then I'm missing a big bulk of football season, the end of
they do
football
have
season.
televisions. I
Yeah, I
think.
know, but like I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna want to be soaking up the U.S. winning the World Cup.
Yes,
in
sure.
Qatar.
That's the,
So I think
you're gonna go.
I'd
go
to
sweat it out
Arizona.
100. I've
Yeah.
been to preseason football games in Phoenix.
Indoor
They
stadium.
suck.
Indoor
They
stadium.
suck.
I mean, I like preseason. I know you hate preseason.
It's the
football,
worst thing ever.
But I like having football back. So it's
The answer to me is the World Cup, but only because it's the World Cup.
Right.
I don't want to go, and really, there's a part of me that would rather say,
There's all expenses paid.
okay. I'd make a statement about not going, but it's what it is. Carson Weekly,
Yeah, I'm going to the World Cup. It's the World Cup. I feel like you kind of have to.
bro, you don't call me to bail you out of a Qatarian prison.
Hey,
I know that
I'm just
much.
saying, you guys have taken the safe option on both of these.
Yeah.
I have to be. Somebody.
No, I still
somebody's
I think the answer for me
If
is gonna.
this is golf,
but it's
you've laid up.
but it's
You've
also
done.
easier for me because I don't drink anymore. I'm like Drew. I don't drink anymore.
Yeah.
So like it's easier for me to say I think I would be able to survive, but I am worried. Like, what do they do for littering? What do they do for if this is
You
what they
plan on
do?
littering?
I don't plan on it. But like, what if in a minute I just forget that I'm not in America and I like spit on the sidewalk? Are they going to throw me in prison for 10 years? Like, that's the type of thing that we're talking about in a place like
You
this.
don't wash your hands.
There's a far
after going
big
to the
yeah.
bathroom.
Well, I mean, that's a come on. That's a bigger. There's a bigger issue at hand here, which is maybe there's just no world in which I could ever be in Qatar. Like maybe it's a place where no matter what I should not visit. That might be the case. All right, can we squeeze a break in here before we talk to? All right, that's what we're gonna do. Please get in for Would You Rather Wednesday. I get it. It's a tough day. I understand why we're not celebratory and having fun, but we're trying to. Again, this is what we do here, mix things up, do a little bit of everything on this program. At Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio, all brought to you by your neighborhood Glory Days Grill. Tonight, Stan the Fan Charles and Gary Steyer are going to catch up with lacrosse legend, Hopkins legend, Kyle Harrison. He's moved on from his playing career, but he's got a new role with the PLL as they get ready to come to town this weekend. If you miss it live, Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. You can find it tomorrow, PressBoxOnline.com/video or YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. Come in for Glory Burgers, Glory Wings. There's glory for everyone at Glory Days Grill. Enjoy our award-winning burgers, ribs, and wings, or try our fresh salads, hand-cut salmon, or our scrumptious sandwiches. Yum! Come in for our daily specials every weekday, like $7.99 burgers on Mondays and $6.99 nachos on Thursdays. Dine in and let us serve you, or order online at glorydaysgrill.com and take it home. Visit us at glorydaysgrill.com for a location near you. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports.
Are you ready, soccer fans? This summer, the English Premier League returns to Baltimore. Arsenal, Everton, square off in the Charm City match, July 16th, under the lights at M&T Bank Stadium, home of the Baltimore Ravens. This is your only opportunity to take in a Premier League match this summer in the Mid-Atlantic region. Individual and group tickets are on sale at BaltimoreRavens.com.
The latest edition of PressBox is available now, and it's our very first Salute the Coaches issue. On the cover, we recognize Ravens coach John Harbaugh ahead of his 15th season. Also inside, find tributes to Navy football coach Ken Niumatalolo, UMBC soccer coach Pete Caringi, Maryland soccer coach Sasho Sorovsky, and field hockey coach Missy Maharg, Mount St. Joe basketball coach Pat Clatchy, and Poly basketball coach Kendall Peace. We also honor recently retired Johns Hopkins lacrosse coach Janine Tucker and Calvert Hall baseball coach Lou Eckerl, the athletes whose lives these coaches have impacted, offering insights on what makes them special and why they've stood the test of time. PressBox is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can always find the entire edition, as well as the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Sports betting has come to Maryland, and we're ready to help you win some money. Tune in for Simply the Bets every Tuesday morning at 11:40. FanDuel Sportsbook GM Leon Twyman and VSiN's Aaron Oster join the guys every week to give you all of the info you need and offer you a few winners. And every other Thursday at 11:40, tune in for Weekend at Bookies as Andrew Stecca and Alloy Sports' Brad Kronthal help make you some money for the weekend. So come win some money with us on Simply the Bets every Tuesday and Weekend at Bookies every other Thursday. Brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. Watch at YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline. Don't forget that full episodes of the show are available for free on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube. But warning, you get what you pay for. You're listening to Glenn Clark Radio.
All right, into hour number 2 of today's program. Today's show is also brought to you by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today. As we discuss, sadly, the topic of addiction this morning, I ask you again, every year we do a huge push to raise clothes, winter coats, and we're going to do it again, and I'll start making plans for this year, and Drew's been a part of it for years, to help the folks at Helping Up Mission. And I remain involved with Helping Up throughout the course of the year. Today is a reminder that addiction does not discriminate. I beg you, I plead with you to think about how it is that you discuss the topic of addiction and how you discuss addicts, and whether you would say some of those same things about people who have cancer. I plead with you to think about that as you dissect the news of Jalen Ferguson's tragic death this morning. And I also plead with you to consider doing what you could. Come join me. I'm there the first Sunday of every month. I'm there at 6 a.m. Come join me. Or find another day. Help us fight the disease of addiction in this community with good folks like the people at Helping Up Mission. That's productive. Not a sermon, just a thought. And I know it's difficult. Everything about today is difficult. I'm sorry. I feel terrible for Dale Scott, who I really want to talk to, and I think his story is amazing. And I hate that, it's a tough day, but I just want to use every opportunity I can to try to share the message. So many of us have lost loved ones to the disease of addiction. It's a disease. Please. Wonderful people like Jalen Ferguson, who's a wonderful person, who appears to have fallen to a disease. All right. The Orioles are playing the Nationals for 2 games this week. Last night they lost game 1. Tonight, Oriole Park at Camden Yards hosts Pride Night, and we welcome in someone who has detailed his own story in recent years and who will be making an appearance tonight at Camden Yards for Pride Night. Longtime Major League umpire. It's a pleasure to welcome into the program Dale Scott, the author of the book, The Umpire is Out. He is with us here on GCR. Dale, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes for us.
Glad to be here, Glenn. Good morning. And just listening in, that is a very important message, and I'm glad that you're sharing that.
Well, thank you, Dale. I appreciate that. It's it's a tough day as we lost a linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens passed away overnight, and it's just a tough day. But we do a lot of things here, and I want to talk about your story, and I want to talk about your message and what you're sharing out. Dale, how difficult I know it pales in comparison, right? But how difficult has it been for you in a sport, in a masculine world, in a place where not everybody is still, sadly, in 22 comfortable with the idea of someone they work alongside being gay? How difficult has it been for you to tell your truth and to live your life?
Well, this was a long process as far as my going through my baseball life, so to speak. I mean, it was very difficult when I first started. I went to umpire school in 1981, and my first professional baseball game in the Northwest League in June of 81 was literally 2 weeks after the first reports of healthy men in San Francisco and New York coming down with these cancers. They weren't sure what it was. Well, as we know now, that was the AIDS epidemic. So my career paralleled that. And you know, when I was in the minor leagues, I not only didn't want baseball to know I was gay, because obviously I didn't think I'd be getting any promotions to Double-A, let alone try to get to the big leagues. But when the HIV pandemic or epidemic, was sweeping across this country, and there was so much fear and unknown about it, and I'm thinking now, as if they found out I was gay, not only would I not be promoted, but there would be nobody would want to work with me. You know?
Right.
I mean, they were people would be afraid to be. You know, in the minor leagues, you're together a lot. I mean, we were sharing, hotel rooms and locker rooms and working together and being in long car rides between assignments and all that stuff. So, yeah, it was something that I was well aware of, and something that I actively tried to hide throughout the first several years of my experience in baseball.
Was it what changed, right? Like, is it just society changed, and because society changed, it was what allowed you to be able to be yourself and live your truth?
Well, as I spent 5 years in the minor leagues. I got promoted. My first year was 1986 in the American League. That's when we used to work just one league or the other. And again, actively tried to hide who I was. But as I got to be established as an umpire with the league and with my fellow umpires and things, I thought, quite frankly, I was putting up a pretty good charade. But by the late 90s, I had guys just randomly, tell me, "Hey, Dale, I think, I know you have a little bit different lifestyle. I just want to let you know that I don't care. I'd walk on the field with you any day. You're a good umpire. You're a good guy, and I just want you to know that." And guys were reaching out to me, saying, it's okay, and that kind of helped me to take my shields down, so to speak. And by the as we entered the 2000s, the whole staff knew, the umpire staff knew, the people I worked for at Major League Baseball knew.
Wow.
And so that really helped me to be much more of my true self, obviously, once I was able to do that. But that was 15 years into my 32-year career. So it wasn't something that happened overnight.
Did you still deal, Dale, with discrimination with players who knew and had some things to say to you? Did you still deal with that even before it was you came out publicly, but as it became more clear to people within the game, did you deal with those things?
Well, baseball is a very tight fraternity, so to speak. Even though the staff knew and the guy, the people I worked for knew. It's still, if players knew, nobody ever said anything. And I know that obviously there have been gay players throughout the years, and I'm sure there are now in Major League Baseball. I'll tell you what, though, in all the years I've been there, I've never heard, even on the down low where it's not public, but because you're on the same field or something, I've never heard anybody discuss an actual name of who might be gay. It's very tight-lipped, and that's kind of the way it was with me as an umpire.
Sure.
Nobody, or if they did know, they didn't say anything until, and when I came out publicly in 2014, they still didn't say anything, quite frankly, because it was pretty, I was just business as usual. When I came out, I said in interviews, and I said, I think, and I came out in December, so it was a few months before games were playing. And I remember just saying, I think they're going to be more concerned, the players and coaches and managers, more concerned about me getting pitches and plays right than, what I do after the game. And that's pretty much how it came out,
Yeah, you miss a call, they're not going to really care.
Yeah, they don't really care.
What your sexual orientation is. They're just going to tell you you're an idiot. Like, that's the way
Exactly. I'm an idiot, gay or straight.
Right. 100%. Dale Scott is with us. The book is The Umpire is Out. You can find out more, umpiredalescott.com. He's going to be appearing tonight at Camden Yards for Orioles Pride Night. I want to talk about that if I could, because I think there are still people that aren't necessarily evil by any stretch of the imagination, but they say something like, hey, I don't care, gay, straight, whatever you are, but I just don't understand why we need to have Pride Night. Like, why does that need to be a thing? What is your response to that?
Yeah, I also hear kind of sarcastically maybe that it wins straight Pride Night.
Right.
Or something. I say, well, straight Pride Night is pretty much every night. It's probably difficult for someone that isn't in the gay community to understand that
and we've come a long way. Let me preface it with that. But there is discrimination out there. There are people that maybe don't even realize it, but they understand. They say, I don't really care, but I think it still does bother some people. And what baseball has done with these Pride Night and other sports is to let the community know, hey, everyone's welcome here. Everyone is welcome to be an Oriole fan, and we embrace the whole community. Everything's the default in our world, in society, is straight. I mean, that's the default. So when you're not the default, sometimes, or I should say, when you are the default, sometimes you don't understand maybe the different communities or different people of different communities that aren't the default. That's not the normal go to. And I think that's one of the reasons that we do this, Pride Nights and those types of things.
I think it's the easiest way of saying it, right? Like that we it's still important that we show support to a community that hasn't always been supported. And
right.
I can speak as a white male, cisgender, straight, whatever, I don't know. Check literally every milquetoast box that you can check. I'm the most boring human being on the face of the planet. I promise you that. If you saw how I dress, I'm even more boring than that. And I can say I'm good, right? Like I don't need, because I've never felt like I wasn't welcome somewhere in my life. I've never felt that way. So and I think it's important that we continue to say that. What's it been like for you in the years? Have you now, as someone who's been a very public representative within the baseball community of the gay community for the last 8 years, have you found people coming to you asking, "Hey man, I'm going through something"? Have you been, a shoulder for people to lean in on over these last 8 years?
Yeah, a little bit. I've had, since I've come out publicly, I had people within baseball, a couple of people within baseball reach out to me and tell me things that I didn't know about. Like one person that's in baseball, not an umpire, but somebody that works for professional baseball, reached out to me one day and said his stepson was transitioning, and it was a very confusing time for him to try to understand everything, and he just reached out to me. He would have never done that if I hadn't come out. I don't, but just really just needed somebody to talk to about help understand. So it happens. Major League Baseball did a great thing in 2014. They hired Billy Beane, ex-player who came out after his playing day. He stopped playing baseball because of the pressures of being gay and at that time. But that was very proactive by baseball. No other professional league had specifically hired somebody just for the inclusion and equity type job that he's done. And it really showed, baseball really showed everybody really that, listen, we again, kind of like Pride Nights, we don't just talk the talk, we walk it also. We welcome everybody. Baseball is for everyone, and we're going to show you that we really mean it. And he's done a phenomenal job. So
it's cool.
The outline is there, the structures are there for in professional baseball for someone to come out. It's just, to me, kind of surprising we still haven't had one when football, basketball, hockey, soccer, they've all had active gay players.
All right, let's Dale Scott with us here on GCR. Let me just knock out a few importance with you before I let you go. Do you have an Earl Weaver story? I know he was only around for a couple years at the end as you were starting your career, but do you have one that stands out?
Well, I had Earl just one year. It was the year he came out of retirement and managed. I didn't eject Earl, and I could be the only umpire on the planet.
Congratulations!
But, I do remember one time. This is at the old Memorial Stadium. He was not happy a little bit on my strike zone a little bit. He had talked to his pitcher, and he was coming back, and he came over to me, and he goes, those pitches aren't high. And I said, well, no, I got him up in the zone, Earl. He goes, well, they're not. And I said, well, so you mean when you're hitting, I should be calling those strikes? And he said, I didn't say that. I said, okay, I think I know what you're saying.
I love that. That's wonderful. How does Angel Hernandez keep getting work, Dale?
Well, listen, first of all, let me just preface this by saying, when I was working, I was not on social media, and thank God, because I'm on it now, and I see some stuff that is going out there.
Yeah, it's tough.
And it's just awful. But, sometimes you can get labeled in this job, good or bad, and it's tough to shake. Maybe it applied to a certain part of your career or whatever, but it's something that really doesn't apply now. But it's hard to shake a label once you got it. And unfortunately, pounding on Angel is now a sport, I believe, and it's just sometimes we all take criticism and we all make mistakes and deserve to be criticized in that aspect. I think if at this point Angel walks on the field, he's already blown 4 calls and they haven't even started the game yet. So it in people's eyes. So I don't know. He's MLB. I know he's had some issues with MLB, but he also is worked a lot of postseason, and they don't put people in there just because they're being nice to him. They put them in there because of their overall body of work during the season. And so, I think maybe it's gone a little overboard. Let's put it that way.
All right. I'll be willing to consider it, but I'm not sure I believe it. Anyway,
believe it or not, sometimes umpires can be good diplomats. That's what I'm doing right now.
All right, yeah, and I understand. He's one of your own. I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I understand you're not going to. And then, if I could wrap with this, why is it important to you that there be, I'm sure you hear all the time, we need robot umpires. That's how you fix baseball. What is your reaction when someone approaches you about the robot umpire thing, Dale?
Well, I was in favor of it and happy with replay. I think it's for the most part done what it's supposed to do, correct obvious mistakes and make sure that those things don't go forward. I'm not sure about this automated strike zone. I always say be careful what you ask for. There have been some unintended circumstances with replay. One being the cheap out you get when a guy slides in, he's safe. Everybody knows he's safe, but the fielder keeps the glove on him and he just gets, as he pops up, maybe he's a half an inch or if that off the base, and then that's a cheap out. They go to replay and he's out. So that was unintended. That's not what replay was for. And I'm afraid that with all this talk, we want perfect strike zones. We never want a pitch to be missed. Which is, quite frankly, our goal every time we go out there. But the strike zone is a funny thing. It's 3-dimensional. It's written in such a way, the definition if the ball enters any part of the strike zone at any time, it's a strike. Well, sometimes those pitches are not very good pitches, but they are technically strikes. We, as umpires, the art of umpiring is applying the rules not stringently, but how it affects the game, how it works in that level of game. A machine, so to speak, is just going to do black or white. It doesn't have any nuance to it. Is that good, bad? I don't know. I've gotten to the point now that technology, we're not going to outrun it. So I think that the automated zone's coming. Maybe that's what people want. Once it's here, we'll see how it works out. I just have my doubts.
All right. I understand where you're coming from. I know exactly what you mean. Dale Scott, tonight he's going to be in the team store as the Orioles celebrate Pride Night. Signing copies of the Umpire is out, which is available now at Dale Scott, MLB5, and UmpireDaleScott.com. Dale, truly appreciate you taking the time for us this morning. Thanks for doing it. Look forward to seeing you tonight.
Absolutely, and thanks for having me on.
Dale Scott, longtime MLB umpire. Appreciate him hopping on with us for a couple minutes this morning, chatting about his story ahead of Pride Night tonight with the Orioles. All right, today's show brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. 61 self-service kiosks in the FanDuel Sportsbook. Always a great time for you to be there. All of the major events, be it the Stanley Cup Finals, be it next weekend, UFC 276, Israel Adesanya in action. The place to watch the fights and bet on all of them. Live betting, all sorts of props available, is always FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. And, moreover, we want you to make sure that you have your spot, whether it's a table, whether it's a group of reclining chairs. If you're bringing out friends, family, colleagues, the plan to go watch, bet on the fights next Saturday night, then what you want to do is email events@sportssocialmd.com. That's events@sportssocialmd.com. Right now, reserve your spot. Make sure you've got it. Again, events@sportssocialmd.com to reserve your spot in the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. Griffin, you might... Oh, there you go. There we go. We're good. How about that? Had a lot of moving parts today. A lot going on as it's a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm always excited. It always means the world to me to catch up with our next guest because it's really weird when we talk about him. He's beloved here. He's a beloved figure in Baltimore, despite the fact that he was here for 1 year. 1 year, and yet we still think about this guy and get warm fuzzies because of how magical that year was and how incredible he was and how everyone turned to him as a leader. He's now with the Nationals. It was painful to see him come through with a big hit last night. It was that awkward moment where you're like, oh, no, but it's Nelson, and I just can't root against him. He is the great Nelson Cruz, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Nelson, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It is so good to catch up with you, man. Thank you for taking a minute for us this morning.
Hey, good morning, Glenn. Always a pleasure, man.
Hey,
Bye.
We were just talking a second ago. Like, you were here for a year, and yet we adore you in this town. Can you tell us about the other side of that? Because I've talked to you over the years about how meaningful that year was to you. You were only in Baltimore for 1 year, but yet what does it mean to you when you get to come back and be here again?
Yeah, definitely. Like you mentioned, for me, it also was special, I had a chance to take the team to the playoffs, to win the division first time in 90-something. The last time we won the division, so it was magical. The fans, everything about that team was incredible. Great group, So it's always special to come back, and see the fans and see the city. Really good memories going by when I show up to the stadium.
What did you think when you looked out the left field last night? What did you think when you saw how far the wall had moved back? Obviously, it ended up costing you guys. Yeah.
I watched on TV, but once you go there, you realize, oh, wow, it's definitely farther than there what I thought. Well, like I said yesterday, they did it for a reason. They only know why they did it. Maybe you know more than I.
They're trying to get a pitcher to sign here at some point, Nelson.
Probably, yeah. But they definitely helping the pitchers, and as a position player, you know that you have to really kill it to go as a homer. And you can see the other way too. You're gonna get a lot of hits because the outfielders play huge now, and we have more space to get hits and doubles.
I mean, look, it's almost now when you see somebody hit a home run to left field, it's more of like an electric moment at the ballpark because you know how much more difficult it is to hit a home run to left field at this point. So when you see it, you're like, holy crap, that's amazing. When we watch it occur, Nelson, you're 41. Like, how are you doing this? How is it that you are still able to play at such a high level at this point in your life?
I just work, I make sure I take care of my body, do my work at the gym, take the rest that I need, recovery is a really important part of my game, and I take good care of that, and just experience, that also can help you, if you can have the experience and stay healthy, definitely plays also a big role.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I hear you say that. I'm 38 and I'm exhausted just talking to you right now. Like, I have no idea how you're doing. And oh, by the way, all you're doing is hitting 333 over the last month. Like, it's insane. It's just insane what you're doing. What Nelson Cruz with us on GCR? What's driving you at this point? Is it still the World Series thing, having come so close a few times? Like, is it still, I don't want this thing to be over until I taste that, until I get that opportunity?
Yeah, definitely that's the reason why I'm still playing. I want to win the World Series, At the end of the day, God knows if that will happen or not. But if I keep battling and come and compete, I love the competition. That's part of the reason also. and to be able to do what I love. I've definitely been blessed to play for so many years, to play around great teammates and great organizations. So I can only be thankful, God, of the chance that I have to do what I love,
Oh, I mean, by the way, we're going to start thinking of it. Like, at some point, somebody's going to present me a stat where they're going to be like, hey, 3% of all baseball players ever have been teammates with Nelson Cruz or something. Like, we're getting to that point in your career where that's going to be the case. Nelson, as I mentioned, the drive to win a World Series. The other part that we talk about, and the reason why you're so beloved here, is the way that other guys talked about you. And I know that's something that's continued over the years. I know the relationship that you developed with Manny and with Jonathan Scope and guys like that. How important has that been for you, especially with Latin players, to be, that godfather type of figure? And I don't mean that in like an organized crime type of way. I hope that you understand that. But like that guy that people can turn to as being, a leader, an older brother, whatever it is, as they go through their respective careers.
Yeah, I think coming up, I always thought like when I got the chance to help others, that would be my priority. And that was the case when I played here, when I would play with the Rangers, when I played the Mariners, I played Twins, Tampa, and now here in Washington. Make sure I help others, especially the young guys. I know what they're going through. First time called up or with faith struggling, situations that come up with the game. And now also about life, just tell them about God and how important it is in my life. So there's a lot of things that you can do. You have to be an example first, playing the game the right way, do the stuff that you're supposed to be doing. Also in the community, try to build that relationship with the community and know they have needs, and also you can bring power you gain to that spot to help others, in the community.
No question, and we know that's the reason why you were the winner of the humanitarian award a couple years ago, because of the wonderful things that you have done. And the Roberto Clemente Award in 2021, which I know means so much to so many people, and especially because Roberto Clemente's name is attached to it, it's all the more meaningful. Nelson, a couple I wanted to run by you. One, I know it's in the same division, so it's a little bit awkward, but I also know there's a trade deadline coming up, and who knows how this plays out. Are you even remotely surprised by what Buck is doing with the Mets right now? Like, when you found out that that's where he was going, did you sort of immediately say like, oh, they're going to be good because we know, like who Buck is and what he's capable of doing?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they have a great team. With him as a player as they, that's definitely going to be plays a big role for them to help them to complete whatever they want to do.
What is it that makes Buck special? Why is it that like wherever he goes, winning kind of tends to follow him?
Well, he understands the game pretty well. Also, he's a leader. He takes care of the players, definitely a guy that you can rely on. When the moment comes, he's always going to got you back. And there's a lot of the situations. He always has something positive or something to add to the cause. And definitely that's why he's one of the best in the business.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I know you guys, you don't want this, but selfishly, if it's not the Orioles, we find ourselves kind of rooting for it to be the Mets, Nelson, because like it just feels like that dude wins one World Series. He's a Hall of Fame manager, right? Like it just sort of feels like that's all that's missing for him at this point.
No doubt. I mean, he got the resume. He's been in the game for so long, so many organizations, and being a winner, he just needs to get the World Series, and I think he will be complete.
Do you, it's funny because we're talking about your longevity and like, but do you find yourself saying, like Julio Franco played till he's damn near 50, right? Like, do you find yourself saying, I don't, as I mentioned, you're hitting the last month, you're one of the hottest hitters in all of baseball. Do you find yourself saying like, I'm still not even thinking about it? Do you envision yourself maybe playing for more, like you're Tom Brady at this point, playing until you're close to 50?
No, I just go year by year. I think the time will tell me when it's over and when it's not. If you still produce, I want to stay in the game because, like I said, I love the game. I love the competition. So I just go day by day, year by year. And whatever happens, I'd be happy with the results. Because I know I put the work every day. I put the effort every day to be out there competing and give my best.
That's awesome. All right, so is there one guy, I was thinking about this earlier, I don't know if there's a name in your mind of someone that you faced, a pitcher that you faced, that if you told us that, it would give even greater context to just how long you've been in the game, because it would make us think like, oh my God, he legitimately faced this dude. Is there a guy that you can think of that you faced as a pitcher at the beginning of your career that maybe people would be blown away, their minds would be blown by the fact that here we are in 2022, you're still playing, and you would actually face that guy?
Oh, wow. Well, I faced Randy Johnson.
There you go. That's exactly what I'm looking for. That's perfect. Like, Randy Johnson is the exact name. My God, the longevity of your career, that here we are, and you had to face Randy Johnson at the beginning of your career. That's amazing, isn't it?
It is, man. He's one of the greatest. So it was something that I was looking for that day. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to face this guy.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Do you ever feel – look, okay, so you talk about the shape that you're in, all the things that you do. Is there any way that you feel your age at all, Nelson? Is there any moment where you're like, dude, yeah, but when I wake up in the morning, I'm sore like the rest of you that are 40 years old. Like, do you ever feel your age at any point in your life?
No, really. I wake up every day and, like, really good, man. Like, on the base, better than ever. My body just in great shape. You feel tired because you play so many games. Like the other day, we played 5 games in 4 days.
Yeah.
Definitely, you feel tired. But I mean, once I rest, I wake up and I feel normal. God blessed me with my body, I guess, and I be taking care pretty good of it.
That's all. And by the way, I imagine there are 30-year-olds that they're tired after playing 4 games in 5 days, right? Like, I imagine that. Or 5 games in 4 days. I don't think that's unique to 41-year-olds to end up being a little sore playing that much baseball. I mentioned Manny a second ago. I know we all got a little bit of a scare the other day. Admittedly, us here, we're still rooting for him. He's been having a spectacular MVP type of season. What does it mean to you to see him, live up to? It's so easy for people to criticize someone when they make a lot of money and they're not the greatest player that ever played the game or something like that. What does it mean to you to see him kind of silence the people that wanted to doubt whether or not he was worth all the money that he made?
I'm just happy for him, man. He's a great guy. Yesterday, I sent him a text. We talked a little bit. But, I mean, we all understand the game of baseball is very difficult. And he get that amount of money because he did something good to deserve that money. And at the end of the day, I think he just needs to be healthy. If he's healthy, he'll put the numbers and he will be wherever the numbers should be with him because he's been really consistent to his career. And he's one of the best players in the game. So, I mean, also as part of the game, fans being criticize players is the nature of the game.
I admittedly, Nelson, as you'd imagine, much like we miss you, we greatly miss. We greatly miss. Although we're excited, we think there's a lot of good things happening. We're excited about it. Nelson, before I let you go, you became kind of a meme last year for an ad that you did for Best Buy where you're pointing at a television. Did you? I think I saw that you kind of recreated it when you got to DC. You were having fun with it. Did you like the sort of silliness of the internet and the fun they had with you with your TV? And can we assume that like at home, you probably have a TV that's like a little bit bigger than the one that you were pointing to in the clubhouse?
Yeah, definitely I have fun with it. I have to enjoy every single moment. And in that situation, definitely I would enjoy it. And yeah, I think I have a bigger one than that one at home.
All right. I'd like to think that the folks at Best Buy would hook you up with like a nice, like maybe 200-inch screen in order to screen all your movies and stuff like that at home.
And the funny part was it wasn't for me. The deal was for a friend of mine. He needed to put a theater in his house.
You were just trying to help somebody out.
Yes.
That's awesome, man. I love that. All right, at NC Boomstick 23 on Twitter, of course, how you follow him. And go vote for Nelson Cruz. He's in the other league. Go vote. When you put in all your Orioles, pop the button for Nelson Cruz, too, when you make your All-Star ballots right now. Nelson, I know you're always doing good work. Is there something that we can plug for you, man, as far as the wonderful work that you continue to do?
No, I mean, we continue to work on the weekend here in the States. We work, try to find ways to help kids and make sure they stay in school, they practice baseball. That's what we're all about, I believe in the work that we put on with my foundation to help others, and I'm really proud of the work that we haven't done.
That's awesome. And may you continue to do that forever. I'm going to try to speak into the existence that in 2 years when the Orioles are ready to compete for a World Series, we know you're still going to be killing it, so we just reunite in 2 years, and you end up coming and helping us win a World Series in 2024. That's the way I want to see things play out. Nelson Cruz have always –
that'd be great.
Man, it would be the greatest story ever. Oh, my God, it would give me goosebumps. Have truly always appreciated you as a man, really as a baseball player. Continue to root for you. Please take it easy on us tonight, all right, please. And thank you, as always, for taking the time for us, man.
Thank you. Good night. Yeah, appreciate it.
The great Nelson Cruz. God, love that dude. Truly love that dude. We talk a lot about the what ifs in Baltimore sports history, and it's easy. One of the eternal what ifs is the what if you had brought back the guys that you should have brought back after the 2014 season and not spent all of your money on Chris Davis. What if gone?
That would be something. 10 years later, Nelson Cruz
comes
comes
imagine
back.
at 43 years old? But again, like somebody, you might look at his numbers right now for the season and say, well, he's hitting 250. You're starting to see the decline. But if you look at the last 30 days, he's hitting 333. Hey, go ahead, you can pull Carson Weekly back up. He's hitting 333 over the last month of the season. And you saw the one he ripped down the left field line last night. The exit velocity wasn't down on that ball at all. Like, there was no part of that made you think he was 41 years old hitting that ball down the left field line last night. That was ripped. 333 over the last month, Nelson Cruz, at 41 years old. It's ridiculous. It's insane. So you're telling me he couldn't keep doing this for another couple of years?
The way he talks, he
I'm not
he
gonna
knows
be
he
yeah,
knows
I'm
he'll
not
be
gonna be
around.
And look, the unspoken part is, if you really want a World Series, why'd you go to Washington? Well, you had to go somewhere where you're going to play. Like, you have to be somewhere in order to remind people. By the way, if he continues hitting like this for the next couple of weeks, everybody's going to want him at the deadline. Yeah, there's still a limit to what Washington will be able to get for him because, he's a 41-year-old kind of bat only. It's much like when we talk about Trey Mancini. There's a limit.
Didn't he play left field for the Rays last year? He can.
It's not like
first base or something.
It's not like he can't. It's not like he can't. But let's be realistic about it. But he's a desirable bat to add to your whatever your situation is. So, my God, like if it were to be the Mets that traded for him, it'd be right. What an awkward situation because I don't have any reason to hate the Mets, but just the nature of New York. It's like what I say about people that were rooting for the Celtics during the NBA Finals. I'm like, dude, in my blood, I'm going to hate Boston. That's just the way it's going to go. And they're awful people. They're terrible sports fans. Like, I hate them. I'm just inclined to hate them. I don't want to see them happy ever. And I largely feel the same way about New York, right? Like, I didn't have any. I know we all wanted the Giants to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl because it was the Patriots on the other side, but I take no joy in that because those are Yankees fans that are happy. Now, we know that Mets fans are likely not Yankees fans, so it's a different lot, but they're still New Yorkers. They still think they're better than everybody else. They still think that they're the most important people on the face of the planet and that what they do runs the country. We know that because ESPN thought we needed to do 4-piece 30 for 30s about the 1986 Mets, whose single most significant story was the guy from the other team letting a ball go through his legs.
Was a good documentary, though.
It was Because Lenny Dykstra is insane. If not for Lenny,
Were awesome.
if care about that, you can't. You couldn't possibly. It's like trying to get me to care about preseason football. It was neat. I loved watching Trey. Who cares? Come on, it's the home run derby. Who cares? I can't believe anybody actually remembers who won. Good for you.
Well, it's because Trey was there.
I remember Trey being a part of it. I couldn't you would maybe I would have remembered that it was Pete Alonso, but maybe at best maybe
Cold-blooded Pete Alonso.
The big one was the one when like Josh Hamilton had the greatest home run derby of all time, but didn't win because Morneau maybe was the one who won that year.
That was at
Angels
Stadium too.
Was it? I thought that was the Angels. Why did I think that was in Anaheim?
I don't know. I don't remember. I mean, it could have. Lord knows. I remember so little. It's the home run derby. Who cares?
No, Chris Davis was at Citi Field. That was when he was in it, I think.
Brother,
I don't know.
You're not. You're asking the wrong. I mean, we do have the internet. I guess we get these answers, but the real answer is who cares? Who could possibly care about these types of things? I just love Nelson Cruz. I can't tell you how much I love Nelson Cruz, and yes, it makes you sick thinking about the fact that the Orioles thought there was no way he could hold up to give him long-term deal, and here we are, 8 years later. 8! And he's still a very productive, helpful piece. 8 years. Settle. Don't panic about it. Thanks to Nelson Cruz for taking the time for us. Hey, if you missed Simply the Bets yesterday, you can find it right now by going to facebook.com/PressBoxSports or youtube.com/PressBoxOnline. Every Tuesday, we try to help you get ready for the week that is in sports betting with Simply the Bets, brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. No weekend at bookies this week. That will return 1 week from Thursday. When we come back in, Carson's got the Young Utes.
I got some trivia, too.
Oh?
Remember from last week, you said you wanted trivia? I got trivia this week.
Did I say I wanted?
You did.
Oh, yeah. You wanted,
Oh, the young people. I totally, you know what? I screwed that up. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, I've got it.
Oh, damn it. I didn't prepare my side of it. I actually failed this time.
Okay.
No, but this is good. I'll do mine next week.
Okay.
I'll do mine next week. What day are you in next week?
Thursdays.
Regular?
Yeah,
Okay.
Back to normal.
Tell you what, I'm going to put it on my calendar so I don't forget about it. All right,
ready.
I'll do my side of it next week. All right, we'll have some fun next. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. Sports fans, the wait is over. The all-new FanDuel Sportsbook is now open at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. This is your chance to win big right in your own backyard. Bet on every sport with self-service kiosks and watch all of the action from the best seat in the house. Make every moment more at the all-new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
The biggest pro wrestling stars today and all time all have one thing in common. You've heard them on Jobbing Out.
Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks.
Thanks for having us, man. Appreciate it.
The great Kurt Angle.
Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Matt Riddle.
Yeah, man. Thanks, man.
The champ, Drew McIntyre.
Oh, thank you for having me.
The great Ron Simmons.
Damn.
Keith Lee.
Appreciate you guys having me, man.
Bill Goldberg.
My pleasure.
Charlotte.
Thank you so much for having me.
Mick Foley is with us.
This is the greatest name for a wrestling show I've ever heard.
MJF.
I'm glad you're happy I'm on this show because I'm freaking miserable.
Le
champion.
Chris Jericho.
Le champion.
AJ, Aaron, Brandon, and Glenn are talking pro wrestling every week on Jobbing Out. Find it at PressBoxOnline.com/radio, iTunes, and SoundCloud.
The Toyota Tacoma comes in a wide range of models and trim lines. You can choose the perfect Toyota to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today.
Stan the Fan here, welcoming back one of my favorite sponsors, the Costas Inn. And everybody around Baltimore knows the Costas Inn is a great place to go and grab crabs, steaks, salads, soups, whatever's on your mind to eat in person. But did you know that the Costas Inn has upped their game? They are now one of the premier takeout places in Baltimore. Give them a call now to order your food, 410-477-1975. That's the Costas Inn over 4100 North Point Boulevard.
The latest edition of Pressbox is available now, and it's our very first Salute the Coaches issue. On the cover, we recognize Ravens coach John Harbaugh ahead of his 15th season. Also inside, find tributes to Navy football coach Ken Niumatalolo, UMBC soccer coach Pete Caringi, Maryland soccer coach Sasho Sorovsky, and field hockey coach Missy Maharg, Mount St. Joe basketball coach Pat Clatchy, and Poly basketball coach Kendall Peace. We also honor recently retired Johns Hopkins lacrosse coach Janine Tucker and Calvert Hall baseball coach Lou Eckerl, the athletes whose lives these coaches have impacted, offering insights on what makes them special and why they've stood the test of time. Pressbox is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can always find the entire edition as well as the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
To follow the show on Instagram, it's just Glenn Clark Radio. And to follow the show on OnlyFans, wait, I don't think you're supposed to know about that one. Any hoodle. Take it away, boys.
All right, back in here on GCR. Yes, we know. Look, it's a very sad day in Baltimore sports, and I'm not. It's a difficult thing. There's no football conversation to be had because it's trivial. I don't care how this impacts football. A human died. A really wonderful human died. So I don't care. So in what we do in sports radio, I don't have much of an interest in that. I have chosen to try to give people time before we ask if they want to talk about Jalen Ferguson. That's a choice that I made because I've made a lot of those calls. In my career as a journalist, I made a lot of those calls where I had to be the one informing someone that someone had passed away, and that sucks. And the show we do is not that show any longer. It's not about being quickest. It's not about any of those things. So I made a choice today that we were going to talk. I was going to tell you what I know about Jalen Ferguson. I'm absolutely going to continue to talk about don't F this up in how you talk about it. Don't miss the boat in how you talk about addiction, which is an indiscriminatory disease that affects good people, bad people, white people, black people, brown people, yellow people, people that don't know what kind of person they are. It's indiscriminate. Don't screw this up in how you discuss it. Don't show your own ass. Try to learn more. Talk to people who have dealt with addiction. Talk to people who have lost people due to addiction. Learn more. Educate yourself. Go the extra mile so that you don't screw up the conversation that we have about Jalen Ferguson. And when you hear Ravens players and people that knew him talk about what a wonderful person he is, understand that that does not need to be measured against how his life ended in any way. That those two are not related. There is no, but he couldn't have been that good of a person. He was in a bad place of town, a drug. No. You don't understand addiction. Listen to Darren Waller tell his story. Come help us out at the Helping Up mission. Understand a little bit better. Jalen Ferguson was a remarkable human being. I know. I got to talk to him a lot over the years. A lot. He's an incredible human being. The man who spent his draft day helping others, the most important day of his life, and teams couldn't get in touch with him because he was out cleaning up a city that had been devastated by a storm. That's who Jalen Ferguson is. That's what you need to know. I get it. It's a tough day. We've tried, doing a show, and this is what we do, and it's fine. I know it's just a tough day, and I'm trying to measure all of those things, and it is impossible to hit all the right notes. It's purely impossible. And I know somebody's going to say, well, you're weaving in between those things. That's what we do. Have you tuned in before? I mean, that's what this show is. We weave in between. That's who we are. I'm sorry. I got to keep reminding people of that, but it's what we're dealing with today. And we're going to continue to have fun. I was happy to talk to Nelson Cruz. I enjoyed it. I'm going to enjoy doing Young Utes here with Carson Weekly in a second. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see if he screws it up and he gives me things that young people don't actually care about. All right, so let's do Young Utes first, and then we can do this game.
All right.
I wonder if we should save the game for next week so we can do it the.
I mean, I can just come up with 5 more.
All right. Let's start with Young Utes. What are the? Oh, hang on.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's not like musical. It's not like my whistle could be an instrument.
I thought it was good. This is probably the best we've had.
It held up. It held up. What do you got for us?
All
what
right,
are the young
so
people talking about?
Young Utes for this week. So the first thing, we've discussed this a little bit earlier on the show, but it's a big trend now. It was big trending on Twitter. I think it started on TikTok. He's a 10, she's a 10, but. And it's basically where people will get together and ask each other questions about either, male or female or whatever they're into, and say, well, he's a 10, but, and then give some crazy condition that would bring it down on the rating scale and see what people have to say. So, like, for example, Glenn, like, she's a 10, but she puts a weekly limit on how often you can watch tennis.
Well, I mean, yes, obviously that would not happen. I'm very familiar. It's why we crafted number 2 the way that we did on Would You Rather Wednesday this week, because it's all people have been doing. I have been trying to come up, like, in looking at it and the responses that we have gotten today. Clearly, I should have presented 7 was too high on the scale. Like, everybody's like, hey, 7's pretty. Let's be honest about it. Most of us, the average person, would be very happy to live their life with a 7. And that's not a male versus female thing. That's not just because we're pigs. I think most women would feel this. My God, I don't think I even qualify as a 7, and yet my wife decided to marry me. So the truth is that most people are like, yeah, 7's pretty good. To your point, Griffin, I probably should have brought it down a notch.
6, yeah.
I probably should have brought it to a 6 for the sake of the conversation, right? I probably should have gone that route. I was telling the boys a story that I dealt with once upon a time where
it's a real life application of this,
it wasn't not that like there was a 10 on the others. It's not like I was choosing between a 10 and a 5, but like I was measuring the 5. It's in the neighborhood of a 5 with some of the other benefits that came along with the situation. And I was like, yeah, that's just fine. Like that worked out to make me feel like, now ultimately, and you can call me a pig all you want, it wasn't going to work. I couldn't. It was unsustainable long term. I could no longer get past that. And I've said this a million times. You've got to be attracted to the person that you're with. You have to be. You have to be physically attracted, or it ain't going to work. It's just not going to work. You can think they're wonderful, but if you ain't physically attracted to them, there's just no way. There's no way. It would be like, just talk to Dale Scott. It'd be like him trying to be with a woman, right? Like it's not going to work. You're not into that. You have to be physically attracted to the person that you're with in order for it to work. And in my application of this, ultimately, it was not sustainable. There was a moment where I was like, I can't. I just can't do this. I badly want it to be, but I can't. There's no way. I don't know. Do you know where it started?
I think it started on TikTok.
But why? Like,
was
there a
trend? TikTok trends just kind of come out of the woodwork.
Just some dudes that were talking. I don't know if I saw the first one.
I don't know if there's like an official first video, but there's a ton of them.
Oh no, it's all I've seen on Twitter. Yeah. And then the problem is like the brands get involved, and then like they try to kill it, right? Like every sports team is like, I saw Maryland
10, but a Duke fan.
Exactly right. They're 10, but they're a Duke. And you're like, all right, I get it. I know what you're doing. You're trying to be involved, but like this isn't for the brands. Let this one be for people. Let just like humans have conversations about this instead of you just trying to co-opt it. Not that I'm pointing out Maryland basketball specifically because
it's been a lot.
In fairness, I do think there are Maryland basketball fans who probably would have used that like in their own. She's a 10, but she's a Duke fan, or Ravens fans are like she's a 10, but he's a 10, but he's a Steelers fan. I remember there being there was a girl. Oh God, she might listen to the show. I love this girl to death. And I remember there being a girl that I had this huge crush on, but she was a Steelers fan. When I was in high school at the time, so I was stupid and I didn't realize like these things are trivial and they don't matter. Yeah. And I remember convinced. First of all, she was definitely out of my league, but second of all, like I just remember thinking, well, it could never work anyway. Like there's no way this couldn't work. That
was your reasoning for yourself.
She's a Steelers fan. Like there were times where I was like, but like she was a Steelers fan. I can't. And
Couldn't stomach it.
Like now, like obviously as an adult, you're like, no, you these things don't really matter. Like you can. I know you hear it all the time. You're like, how does this work? Somebody's married to it. It works because you're adults. Because you get to a point in your life where you're like, this isn't the end-all, be-all of how things go. And we can watch a football game in separate rooms or whatever. And we can understand. Like, I don't feel good for her when the Steelers win, but, like, we're able as human beings to understand that life is bigger than what football team we root for. But when you're 17, you do not understand that.
No.
You do not. You guys probably don't know that yet. I think I would probably been the same way at your age. I probably would have said the same thing. There's no Steelers fan. No way. All right, number 2.
Number 2, so if you're familiar with music, everyone knows that Drake came out with an album last week. And he basically has just been getting ripped by all of the young youths for it being terrible and has become the butt of a lot of memes now saying that just little trivial thing. This is another TikTok thing that Drake has become the butt of, and people are saying he's the kind of guy to clap when the plane lands and just all those all those little things that like you would, I guess, like shame someone for. And yeah, he's just been getting ripped. And people think this new album is terrible that he's been putting out.
You know what's funny is that, like, I've heard a lot of things. I don't care about Drake. I just don't. I don't care about Drake. I never have. There's a couple Drake tunes over the years. I'm like, this is catchy. I am. What's the everybody liked the Hotline Bling song. Everybody loved that.
Yeah,
that was a major.
It was
the early 2010s
smash
Drake
hit.
is who Glenn's
yeah,
talking about.
I'm thinking more.
That was like the radio Drake that was like.
And
you'd hear
I
all the
can't.
time.
But
and then
I
his
was
non-radio
never.
hits were great.
But
too.
I was never a big Drake fan. Like, I openly admit I was I still am a massive. Oh, his last album kind of sucked. I'm a massive Justin Timberlake fan. Like, I'm a fan of Justin Timberlake. I paid American dollars to go see Justin Timberlake. I was a huge Lil Wayne fan. Oh my God, that lined up with me. Again, you got to go. You guys are young. You got to keep in mind, like, the way that lined up with me was perfect. I remember, like, a group of people in a car driving around, all belting out every lyric to Blunt Blowin' at one point in my life. Like, I was all in on Lil Wayne. I went and spent my money to go see Lil Wayne at one point. I also went once with Jay Trucker to see him at the arena when Jay was reviewing it for the Baltimore Sun, and I might still be high to this day. I might still have a contact high from that show at the arena. It was insane. I've never been a Drake guy. Like, at no point was I like, I'm a Drake fan. There were songs I was like, that's all right, but I never thought he was so great that I found myself saying I'm just a fan of Drake, the way that I was a massive Jay-Z fan, or the way that I was a big Lil Wayne fan. At this point, I'm mostly out because most of it is mumble rap, and I can't get in. You can't, no matter how hard I like Kendrick. I do. I think everybody's talking about this as being the greatest hip-hop record of all time, and I don't think that's the case. I think it's good. I like it.
What is your greatest hip-hop record?
Stankonia, probably. Like, you gotta hip-hop line. It's an age thing, but
right.
I don't think that there's been any Tribe Called Quest. Like, that 90s hip-hop was so different, and into the early 2000s.
Tough to compare the eras.
Outkast was just...
It's almost apples to oranges.
That's a fact. But I was never a big... So none of this bothers me when people dunk on Drake. Because I
like it because it's really funny.
Yeah, it's
and I think he brought some of it on. Like, it's the thing. Everybody always points out, like, him rooting for every sports team. And then literally the team that he rooted against, they lose, and then he just goes and celebrates in the locker room with the other team that won. Like, he brings it upon himself in so many ways. I do respect the fact that, like, he cares a lot about Toronto, and he's an ambassador for the Raptors and for the place that he's from. I have respect for that like, he tries to elevate the city that he's from and be an ambassador for those teams and all those. I got some respect for that, but, like, he also roots for Kentucky basketball too.
Right.
There ain't no connection to that. It's just some front-running S, you know.
Speaking
of
Drake and basketball, have you guys seen the clips of
his posse? Him saying he was like Kobe in Game 7 against the Celtics.
Yeah, and it's just like these dudes that, like, don't play any defense on him, and he just, like, nails an open three and, like, goes crazy.
So dumb. All right, and what's number 3?
So number 3, Kim Kardashian's back in the news because she wore a dress that had belonged to Marilyn Monroe at the Met Gala, and I mean, I personally really don't care.
Yeah, I definitely don't care.
But, like, a lot of young people are legitimately upset with her because apparently she damaged the dress in some sort of way. I don't know anything about dresses, but, like, apparently, like, the back of it's messed up.
And yeah, people are pretty upset about that.
Yeah, I guess.
They said it was in bad taste for her to wear the dress.
I mean,
and she was trying to like out.
I mean, I guess
same.
I guess the question is: it literally the exact same dress?
Apparently, it is the dress.
So
that
how
Marilyn
did
Monroe
like when
wore.
you
how did she fit into it?
Or how did she get it?
I think
like who owns the dress?
Money can buy a lot of things, Glenn. And when you have
somebody
a lot of
has to own it though. Like I don't. You know what? No.
I think she owns it.
No. I'm not going to get I don't care. I'm not going to get involved with this. My life is better if I don't know these answers. I've completely changed my mind.
It's side by side. It's the same. It's the same dress.
I understand, but how did she get access to it?
I don't know.
I'll look it up.
But someone,
oh God, I don't want to know. I don't actually want to. I don't want to know any more information about this.
Of like the before and after of it, and like how it was damaged. I can't tell a difference.
Well, who would possibly? That's the type of thing. That, like, there's just no way. There's no way that. What do we know about dresses? So how would we know that?
Okay, so it belonged to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and it says that they donated to a charity to let her wear it, and she only wore it for the photos on the red carpet.
Did it raise money for a charity?
It did.
Okay,
so she donated to a charity to be able to wear the dress.
She made a donation to be able to wear the
to be able to wear the dress.
My God, man.
Yeah, and if it's for a good cause, like
yeah, the hell.
The way I look at it, you know what? If this dress rips a little bit, but a bunch of money goes to a good cause,
I mean, like, did you raise more money than whatever? Who's going to pay to get it fixed? Is she going to pay to get it fixed?
Are they even going to get it fixed?
I know.
I don't know either. I don't know any of this works. I can't believe. I can't believe the world is falling apart, and we're flipping out about a stupid dress. But I believe that the young people do care about it. I do think
it is funny. I mean,
I do think these are stories.
Someone posted the picture, like the side by side. I can't tell the difference, like what the damage is done. But they're like, I need to go lay down.
Yeah, I mean, what are we
people
doing with
people
our
are
lives?
really like up in arms.
What
about
is
this?
this?
This is like a big
Who
deal. to
are
some
we
people.
as a society? Hey, did we put up anything more on TikTok?
Yeah, we got.
What did we put up?
Okay, so we got.
Pull up the TikTok page over here. Pull up. Hang on a second. Pull it
We
up.
have 4 videos up
Hang-
now.
ooh.
One got 213 views. One got
That's-
132.
Okay, it's not a lot, but we're
definitely getting.
we're moving.
The train
we're moving
is
somewhere
just starting to
at
roll.
Glenn Clark Radio on TikTok. What did we post? Just
So one was the Taco Bell thing that
Okay.
we wanted when
Okay.
you were saying that we thought it was dumb that we were.
I stand
excited
by
about
that.
Taco Bell.
I got to share that one out.
And then one of them's the sweater vest story because I thought that was a good. I liked that bit a lot.
That's a good one.
I don't know that I want the girl that's involved in that story to know because
You
we're
want
still
me to
we're still friends. I love that girl. She knows, but it's awkward with my wife. It's a whole thing. Like,
You want me to take it down?
No, I don't. My wife's never. The chances.
I thought it was a good bit.
Mrs. Clark's never going to end up on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. There's zero. She's not on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was really into the sweater vest, and the part that I didn't know is she was also into me, and I didn't know that at the time. And we were playing
like my
some sort
first
of
date.
game. I mean, it probably was Flip Cup or whatever it is that we were playing at the time. I don't know what the.
It's about a minute long. You want to play the whole thing?
Yeah, they're all about a minute
drinking
long.
games are. But whatever we were playing, she was like, "Let's put a bet on this," and I was like, "Okay."
Got
Like,
3
what
legs.
did you have in mind? And it somehow involved
One of them
her,
was from me.
Like if she lost,
I think
she
I
was
might- I
going to
think I
come
probably
back
liked it, too.
downstairs
Oh,
wearing
good.
Nothing but the sweater vest, and that was a very fruitful night for young Glenn Clark. It was a very pleasant.
That was good use of the word fruitful,
in
by
young
the
Glenn
way.
Clark's
How does it-
life? Like it was a night I think quite fondly of, and the sweater vest became kind of like a part
did.
of the story moving
it's an
forward.
iconic image.
at this girl's place.
More important than Marilyn Monroe's
who,
dress.
You love the sweater vest.
This is
All right,
the
next.
type of thing. You guys are rubes and boobs.
There's Taco Bell.
Oh, yeah.
Taco Bell.
You
Yeah.
are just willing to look at a shiny object and say, "Oh my God, it's new and it's cool, and I want it."
I mean, this looks very.
What
interesting.
happens
And
when they drop down someone else's food?
Stand by
down the
this.
tube?
This is a 2-minute
If
long
you were
one.
having
This
your
stand by.
food
All right, we don't need to
handed
play.
Yeah, that was a long
I stand.
clip.
I stand by. You
person,
can dump
and
that.
they
I stand by that. By the way, stupid taco.
You guys are all dumb.
You're like, oh wow, look at this cool looking Taco Bell.
It looks pretty cool.
It doesn't improve your life in any way. It makes it worse. They don't put any fire sauce down the tube, and you're like, I really wanted some fire sauce, and you're talking to nobody. There's nobody to tell for you to get your fire sauce. Nobody. Your problem now. Deal with it.
Maybe they'll have like buttons and you can hit like.
Yeah,
I want this sauce, so it like automatically sends.
But
it
when
down.
they send down whatever it is that you didn't
no,
order,
yeah, see, you got nothing. You're starting.
when they send down
this works.
the cinnamon crisp, what do they call those? They still do those? I don't
Oh
know.
yeah,
you
I
seen how
remember
they make
those. I don't think they do have them anymore.
They
cinnamon,
have
the
them.
cinnamon twist.
Yeah,
The
they
cinnamon-
have them.
when they
Oh, they
send
have
down
them?
cinnamon twists,
The way they make those is just.
and
oh, God.
you didn't want that. You wanted a cheesy gordita crunch. Do they still do those? I don't know
yeah.
what they do at Taco Bell.
Yeah.
God,
They still got
when they introduced the cheesy
You know what you got to
gordita
do?
crunch.
You got to get the Doritos shell in there instead of the
I'm
regular
sure.
shell.
I'm sure that's the play. If I
That
still
is
consume
good.
Taco Bell, I'm sure I would be having a lot of those. When they
Doritos
introduced
Locos
when they
Tacos.
introduced the cheesy gordita crunch, your boy might as well have moved in. Might as well have been paying rent at the old. And there wasn't. So I was living in Kingsville. I was trying to think. Oh, the White Marsh one. That was the one. There was a Taco Bell in White Marsh. There was a little annex in White Marsh that was like a Taco Bell and a McDonald's. And my friend, we spent a lot of time in the Perry Hall High School crew. Spent a lot of time in that annex over by the White Marsh Mall where the Taco Bell and McDonald's were. They knew me. It's not just on a personal level. Like we built lives together with the folks at the Taco Bell. I was there so often because of the cheesy gordita crunch. All right, we wanted to play How Old Are You? How Young Are You? But I screwed up and I forgot. So
We're just going to play How Old
we're going
Are
to play How Old Are You? You got 5?
Got 5.
The
They'll
idea
be
is
quick.
You present 5 concepts. It could be someone's name. It could be an app. It could be whatever it is. It's something that young people know about that I, as I'm now staring down 40, may or may not know about. And I've got to figure out at least, I'm going to say I know it and then attempt to describe what it is to figure out if I actually know it or not. That is the concept. We'll do a full version of this next week. What concepts do you have for How Old Are You?
Okay, so the first one. What was the title of Justin Bieber's first hit song?
I know that was Baby.
Yeah, okay,
Baby. That was in the mid 2000s. That's not something that like is relevant to 2022.
I feel like, but
the
people
idea,
this age know this stuff though.
I don't know that people.
Yeah,
I mean, like, what year would that have been? That would have been like
2010,
09 or something like that.
09
Yeah,
or 10.
I mean, my God, you were 5, whatever you were
Yeah, I
at
was
that
young.
point. I mean, my God, this isn't. All right, what's next?
Well,
Good job,
all these
1
are,
for 1.
all these are a little.
All right, you know what? We're gonna can it. We're gonna do better next week.
I do want to see if you can do this one though.
All right, fine. Give me one more.
All right, put these 3 gaming systems. I want you to put them in order when they came out.
There's no chance. This is now it's like a trivia night.
Wii, PlayStation 2, Xbox One.
PS2, Xbox One. All right. PS2 was the oldest.
Yes.
And then Xbox One. I'm trying to think. I think it goes. Yeah, PS2, Wii, Xbox One.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very correct.
Yeah, I can do that math.
Yeah.
What I want you to do.
We can can it, and then
All right.
you want concepts.
I want things that 20. You're 21 or 20.
20.
20.
But
Jesus
same thing.
Christ. Gee, you guys are so young. I want things that 20-year-olds know about that 38-year-olds, smelling 39. I'll be 39 in two months.
Congrats.
Know about like some app that's very popular.
All right.
Somebody was talking to me about crumble cookies the other day, and I was like, "What? I've never heard of it. I don't know what that means. I know I'm guessing it's a form of cookie, but I know nothing of it. It means
Gotcha.
zero to me.
So a question like, what is crumble cookies?
Yeah, you just give out the concept.
Okay.
Just say who is, and then say somebody's name. Maybe it's the star of Euphoria. I don't. That girl's name that everybody's in love
Zendaya?
with. No, everybody knows Zendaya. The
Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney.
I
thank
never
you.
watched.
Everybody keeps telling me I should, but I have not watched either. That's the type of thing I'm looking for. Whereas on the flip side, I'm going to say, Carson Weekly, do you know what the B-52s are?
Love Shack.
There you go. All right, so you know something that young. That's going to be the concept of the game.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I got it.
Is ideas. The person, place, thing.
I can do that. How many
app,
do you want?
Whatever.
5?
10. Do 10.
Okay.
I'll do 10. We'll do dueling. We'll do dueling. And Griffin, you're gonna have to try to be the judge of whether the question was fair or not.
Okay, got it.
Like you're gonna have to be the one on this side.
You can't ask. I can't be like, what was Doja Cat's 3rd album?
Yeah, like
called?
that's not it.
Okay.
That's not
Yeah,
it.
that's hard.
Right? That's not what we're doing.
too-
We're
that's-
saying
that's off the-
present something, an idea. Do you know what it is? Right? And then I got to try to figure out if I know what it is.
Gotcha.
All right?
Yeah.
So something that broadly 20-year-olds, Jesus Christ, 20-year-olds know about in 2022, but you're not sure that 40-year-olds know about in 2022, right? Like, I know who the chain smokers are. They're quite ubiquitous. But I don't know if there's... When I found out Moneybag Yo was playing Preakness this year, I was like, yeah, not for me. And a lot of my friends were like, really, dude? Really? You don't know Money? I'm like, I'm guessing he's a rapper. I'm guessing that's what he does for a living, but I don't know a damn thing about That's what I'm looking for.
Gotcha.
All right. Carson Weekly, well done. That was a good. That was good, young youths. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit brought to you today by the print issue of Press Box, which is available right now at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find Press Box. You can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. It is our Salute to Coaches issue of Press Box, where we recognize John Harbaugh upon 15 years as head coach of the Ravens. Also inside, Navy football coach Ken Niumatalolo, who's also hitting 15 years, as well as other coaches that either have recently or are approaching milestones, like UMBC's Pete Caringi, Maryland's Sasha Sorovsky and Missy Maharg, Mount St. Joe's Pat Clatchy, Poly's Kendall Peace, and then some recently retired coaches like Janine Tucker from Johns Hopkins and Lou Eckerl from Calvert Hall. And it's the players whose lives and the athletes whose lives they impacted the most who tell the stories about those coaches, what's made them so special, and how they've stood the test of time. It's available for free right now at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find Press Box. By the way, John Proctor's actually been chiming in with gold this morning, and so I apologize, Proctor. I don't know why my computer is not telling me that you're checking in. Which was the bigger failure, the Orioles letting Nelson Cruz go or the Ravens letting Anquan Bolden go?
They're both up there.
That is tough. That is tough. I guess because at least the Ravens got a Super Bowl out of it before they let him go, that you would say the answer is Nelson Cruz,
Yeah.
because like they never.
Like we were still.
I think
they were.
The window was still there.
I think also what followed Nelson Cruz not being signed.
Right, it got so bad.
Yeah, it got really bad, and the Ravens.
Whereas
Ray Lewis was gone.
In 2004, but in 2014, the Ravens still did have a chance to win a Super Bowl. It was the only year after that until Lamar Jackson they had a chance, but they did have a genuine chance.
And they brought in Steve Smith. And,
And the Orioles haven't even been close.
But the singular move alone, which one was?
Probably letting Cruz walk.
In the moment, I think the answer was Bolden. I think we knew Bolden was such a perfect fit for Joe Flacco that in the moment I was more furious about Bolden. The Cruz thing, I think we all at the time were like, yeah, you don't know how long he's going to be able to do this. Like and at the time we were thinking about wanting to sign Chris. Oh God, we were thinking about.
At the time, that was all the hype, though. That was
God.
At the time, Chris Davis was probably the smart move. Because you were like, Nelson Cruz could have been a one-year flash in the pan, and
we were like, Chris Davis just hit 50 homers.
It's so tough. That's so tough. Proctor also said, comparing mumble rap to 90s hip-hop is like comparing garage revival rock to new metal and other rock subgenres. Some are for some people, others are not. Mumble rap is S, though. I just don't. It's not for me, man. I keep trying because I feel like I'm leaving out an entire genre of music at this point.
You're really not missing.
You're not missing much.
Struggling, man. Like there are so many things that people tell me they're into, and then I listen to it. I'm like, what is the appeal? I don't get it. What do you like about this?
Yeah. I mean, if you listen to like one of those, like a mumble rap song, and then go put on like something
real,
something.
I heard
some classic rock or even like an older hip hop piece. Something like, wow, you're like, this is a much more complete.
I don't
piece
understand
of
how we
music.
compare this genre to like. I just don't get it. I'll even say like there was one song he put out that I liked. I don't get the appeal of Post Malone either. I don't get it. I know that like it's cool to smell and have tattoos, but I listen to those songs. I'm like, I
love Post Malone.
What am I? That one song that he did for the Spider-Man movie, I liked a great deal.
Oh, Sunflower.
That's a tremendous.
That was
song.
a smash hit.
Wonderful song.
That song.
But I hear other songs, and all I hear is a dude that like can not like maybe he can sing. But I don't really hear that he can sing.
I like all his music.
Maybe he can rap, but I don't really hear that he can rap. I hear a guy that's just kind of out there, and because he looks like he smells and he has a bunch of face tattoos, people are into it. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But I loved the Spider-Man song. 10.5. 10.5. Love that song.
I don't really care what he looks like or what he smells like.
I just can't.
His songs,
I've tried.
They make me smile when I hear them.
I don't get it. I don't get it. All right. Sorry, tidbit.
Okay.
We're running over today. I'm sorry.
All right, tidbit. So Rob Gronkowski retired yesterday for the second time. So likely, forever this time. So he'll go down as one of maybe the greatest tight end of all time. Maybe the knock being his longevity. He didn't play as long as some of the other great tight ends.
I mean, I think what we're trying to say is that he is the greatest game breaker of all time at the tight end position. Did he have the career of a Tony Gonzalez? Did he have the career, when you bring up longevity? Was he the most gifted? You could say athletically, nobody would talk about it. Vernon Davis might be the most athletic freak that we've ever seen at the tight end position. But the biggest game breaker of all time at tight end, and,
He's up there.
Yeah,
I mean, how many tight ends can you just throw a goal line fade
no,
to?
that's
If
the
they're
thing.
on a
Like,
safety, he'll just snag it over him.
He was he was an utter and complete cheat code. It's impossible. There's no one answer to this question. Shannon Sharp was unbelievable. Tony Gonzalez is unbelievable. Look, Travis Kelce is unbelievable right now. Antonio Gates was a monster.
So that leads me into the tidbit. Is I want to know who are the top 9 tight ends with the most touchdowns all time.
Touchdowns. I mean, guess it's guys that we've been naming.
It has. Yes.
Sharp
is 8th. He is 7th. 7th actually.
Up there.
Gonzalez is 2.
Gates
is 1. 116 for Antonio Gates. 5 ahead of Tony Gonzalez. Gronk is 3rd. He has 92 receiving touchdowns. Jason Witten, top 5, 74.
Yes.
I'm going to say Travis Kelce's there already.
Travis Kelce is 9. Kind of why I made it 9.
Yeah.
57 receiving touchdowns for Travis Kelce.
So 57 is the low number.
Yeah.
So that's not that.
So Vernon Davis probably isn't on the list then.
Vernon Davis is.
I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised at all by Vernon Davis.
Vernon Davis has 63.
So we're missing 2.
You are missing.
Is Dallas Clark on there?
2. Dallas Clark is just outside the top 9. He is 53.
I'm going to say Jimmy Graham.
Yes, Jimmy Graham. He is 4th all time. 85.
Elite tight end for many years.
Dude, people
they forget.
There's a legit argument about Jimmy Graham in the Hall of Fame, and like it's crazy to think.
He was unbelievable.
He's had it's been about 6 years now where he's kind of been just sort of an afterthought. But my God, how good Jimmy Graham was.
Is Jeremy Shockey on there?
Jeremy Shockey not on there. Like
Greg Olson.
Greg Olson is 8th.
There you go.
60.
Nice.
Where's Shannon Sharp was 7th.
Where's Ozzie Newsome on the list?
Ozzie Newsome, he is up there. He is down in, I think, like around 20-ish.
Okay.
He's got 47.
It was just a different era of football. It's just not
47
not
for
The
Ozzie.
tight end was more of a blocking.
He's ahead of Heath Miller.
So all right, hang on. Where's Zach Ertz?
Zach Ertz, I don't see him on like this.
I'm a little surprised
top
by that.
30-ish.
I'm a little surprised by that.
He's less than 42, Zach.
What about I don't even know what the number. What
Todd Heap has 42.
Okay. And how many does Mark Andrews have so far?
Should have known that going into this.
Seems like Mark Andrews has a real chance of cracking the top 10 at some point.
Probably 2. If he keeps going like this for 2 or 3 more years, he'll be on there.
Probably seems like that's the case.
29 for Mark Andrews.
All right, so he's still a ways away.
He's within striking distance.
But yes.
4 years in.
Yeah, I mean, if all you got to do is get to 47.
He's got to get like 5 or 6 a year, which seems very plausible.
No doubt. All right, very good.
Last year.
Tubular, brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. 61 self-service kiosks, the place to watch all the big events. So whether it's the Stanley Cup Finals tonight or whether you're thinking about where you want to go to watch Israel Adesanya next Saturday, UFC 276, they got it on the big screen at the FanDuel Sportsbook, Live Casino and Hotel, and you can bet on it. On their 61 self-service kiosks, you want to make sure you reserve your spot. Email events@sportssocialmd.com. All right, here's what's coming up totally tubular-wise this evening. Masson for the Orioles broadcast, Masson 2 for the Nationals broadcast. Nationals-Orioles, 7 o'clock. Patrick Corbin and Tyler Wells, the pitching matchup there. MLB Network today, Blue Jays, White Sox at 2, Phillies, Rangers at 5, Tigers, Red Sox at 7, Royals, Angels at 10. ESPN College World Series elimination game, Texas A&M, Oklahoma at 2, then Arkansas, Ole Miss at 7. As we mentioned, Stanley Cup Final tonight, Game 4 as the Lightning try to even things up, 8 o'clock against the Avalanche on ABC. ESPN 2, New York Liberty, Connecticut Sun at 7, FS1 for Day 2, the finale. They're crowning a champion tonight. Who says there's no big events coming up? The Westminster Dog Show crowns a champion tonight at 7:30. Who do you like, Griffin?
I like the Mutts.
I think it's the Yorkie. I think the Yorkie's got it. For this one.
That's the favorite. I root for the underdog.
Okay, you're the underdog.
Yeah.
So bad. TBS for AEW Dynamite tonight at 8. Non-sports.
Better night tonight. Let's see. HBO showing a new Chernobyl little documentary called The Lost Tapes on Chernobyl, so that might be interesting. The Thor actors, everyone's making their late night run this week. Taika Waititi will be on Colbert, Tessa Thompson on Kimmel. MasterChef is on Fox at 8. Obi-Wan Kenobi season finale is on tonight. Doctor Strange, the new Doctor Strange also comes to Disney Plus. And then Umbrella Academy.
Wait, the new Doctor Strange.
It's coming to Disney Plus.
You can watch it. But that seems quick. It
did seem quick.
Is it? Do you have to pay?
It didn't look like you had to pay. It looks like it's on there.
This is
if you have Disney Plus. Yeah, like you waited long enough. If you have not
I'm pretty
seen
sure when
if you haven't gotten priced
when I was at the Cinemaplex over the weekend, I'm pretty sure they were still showing.
I think they're still
Doctor
showing. I
Strange.
mean, people like seeing stuff on the big screen. Umbrella Academy season 3 out on Netflix.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Although I gotta be honest with you, I don't think I watched season 2.
I didn't. Watch season 3
liked
yet either.
Umbrella Academy.
I liked season 1.
I'm trying to finish up. Or I'm not finish up. I just started Peaky Blinders, so I got to get through that before I.
Yeah, Umbrella Academy was one of those things. Like I started during the pandemic.
And oh my god,
the
way people are talking about this coming episode of The Boys on Friday. If you guys have not watched this season of The Boys, holy s, it's amazing. But everybody's talking about if you're not into The Boys, let me try to see if this will appeal to you. This is this isn't for kids. Seth Rogen is now a character on The Boys, kinda. He plays a character named Circumzalot 779.
Oh,
wow!
I'm interested.
Just show's so good. It's so effing good. All right, anything else?
There's one thing you might like, Snowflake Mountain out on Netflix.
Sure.
It is a new reality show with like 10 rich 20-somethings.
Oh, can't wait for that.
And so they now have to go out and live in the wilderness. Hey,
let me know.
I guess we'll see what happens.
All right, yeah, keep me updated on that one. And not at all. All right, thanks today to Carson Weekly. Give me your socials for people to follow you.
Just at Carson Ware. Where's WAIRE on?
God, I'm so mad that it took me this long to come up with Carson Weekly.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So good. It was right there the whole time. It was right there. And I couldn't come up with it. Great.
We have it now, though.
Yeah, we'll run with that forever. All right, so give him a follow there. Thanks today to Nelson Cruz. Thanks to Dale Scott. Thanks also to Drew Forrester. We'll get all that up in the greatest hits section of the tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. We will chat with Stephen Means tomorrow. We wanted to give him a little bit of time. Understandable that what everybody's going through after Jalen Ferguson's passing. So we will catch up with him tomorrow as he is back with the Baltimore Ravens. We like that. We will make our trip to Bowie tomorrow.
Somebody.
Okay, that's the reality and stuff and things on a Thursday edition of the program. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Glory Days Grill, Royal Farms, the Charm City Match, Grade 8's memorabilia, the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, the Baltimore Orioles, your local Toyota dealer at buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Thanks to Ryan at RexSpecs Ryan. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Boom.
At Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Wednesday evening. Go Birds. Duke sucks. Ohio State sucks too.